Hurricanes elect to receive. And back to receive is one of the most talented freshmen in the nation, Duke Johnson, who has 3 of the 5 longest kickoff returns in the ACC this year, including a 95-yarder in the last home game against Bethune-Cookman. It's Johnson and Dorsett, and we are underway here at Sun Life Stadium, and no chance for a return. And a touchback will come out to the 25 for this Miami Hurricanes offense, led by Stephen Morris.
It's a young man who knows what he wants to do with the football, has great size and great athleticism. He's improving every day, and his offensive coordinator, Jed Fish, talked to us yesterday, and he said, you know, probably the most important thing was when he was out with injury during the spring, he had to put up with me each and every play in his ear. And he thinks that he's grown so much by watching and learning, and now he's taking it to the field in 2012.
Did not play in the spring after recovering from back surgery, so a junior from Monsignor Pace will hand it off on the first play. And out to the 25-yard line goes Duke Johnson as the freshman gets the start today. And we meet some impact players from the U.
Well, it starts with thunder and lightning in the backfield. Mike James and Duke Johnson. Duke Johnson doing it all in all-purpose yardage. He leads the nation, and James so consistent. Phillip Dorsett on the outside. He gets it done with career highs against Georgia Tech last week.
They want to be an up-tempo offense, and they run it on 1st and 2nd down as Mike James trips his way to the 30-yard line. And that'll set up a 3rd and 5. Pardon me, Eduardo Clements gets the carry that time. So Johnson starts, then Clements, and we should see a steady dose of Mike James at some point today as well.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Mike James and Duke Johnson and Eduardo Clements more on 3rd down because he's the guy that's really good in pass protection, although Mike James in the ball game here for the first 3rd down attempt.
So out of the shotgun on 3rd and 5. And on the ground for Mike James, and he has nowhere to go. Big play up front for the NC State defense. And Ricky Dowdy, junior from High Point, North Carolina, comes in to make the stop, the first-year starter, with a big play on Miami's first possession.
Dowdy does a nice job of just getting into the gap and getting behind the pulling offensive guard, John Feliciano. He does a nice job of sneaking in there for his 6.5 tackle for loss on the season.
Dalton Botts on to punt it away. Richard Smith is set to return. And this will drive Smith back to the 22. Works his way out of 1 tackle. Makes a move at the 26. Flag on the play, but he makes another move to take it out past the 40. Out to the 41-yard line, A.J. Highsmith, the former quarterback, with a special teams tackle, but this one coming back the other way after a 20-yard return. So Miami goes 3 and out on the Hurricanes' first possession.
Not what they wanted to do to start this football game.
During the return, legal block in the back, receiving team number 10, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Remember, Tom, Miami wants to keep the momentum off of that win, that overtime win last week. And for NC State on the other side, maybe played lesser opponents the last 2 weeks, but they still got it done, and they're in a position now to take the next step, and they're going to do it with their quarterback, Mike Glennon. One of those guys that's 6'6", stands in the pocket, very tall, he anticipates well, and he's a mature quarterback. He's graduated in 3.5 years, and now he's on to his master's degree in business administration. He already has that degree, but one of those guys that he just has that enthusiasm, has that confidence in the huddle, and leads by example.
It was reported as a 15-yard penalty. It is a 10-yard penalty. And Tony Creasy is in at tailback for North Carolina State. Little motion here on 1st down. Mario Carter and Watson, the tight ends, moving behind the line. And Glennon wants to throw on 1st down. Over the middle, finds his tight end for an NC State 1st down. All the way to the 35, and big Mario Carter rumbles to a pack 1st down and a gain of 19.
We talked about the smarts of Mike Glennon. Watch him hit his 5th step and the ball's gone. He finds his open receiver, gets it out of the reach of the arm of the linebacker, Paul, and that's a nice touch on 1st down.
And a give to the tailback, Creasy this time. He finds a crease in 2 plays And it's NC State, which looks like a well-oiled offense. They're already to midfield as we meet some impact players for the Pack.
Creasy back in the lineup. You mentioned him. He goes 14 yards on that last play. And Thornton, he's the young running back who had career highs in his first start. 21 carries for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the outside, Quentin Payton. He's the big play receiver for the Wolfpack. He's averaging close to 20 yards per catch.
Payton lined up bottom of your screen, right side of the formation. Man coverage, they'll keep it on the ground again, and Creasy fights his way through the logo and picks up maybe 3.5 on first down. Creasy is a redshirt sophomore from Durham out of Southern High School. He only has 31 carries on the season, but they have a trio of backs who have shared the ball. Thornton, Washington, and Creasy have all carried it between 21 and 31 times. And Mustafa Green, who's not in action today, has carried it 28 times. Glennon pressured, looks for his tight end, incomplete, just off the fingertips. Pardon me, that was the wide receiver. That was a tailback, Creasy. So 3rd and 7 now for North Carolina State.
And this is where Miami wants to turn the heat up. They want to be able to bring 4 people, but they're going to try to shift Chickalo and Green on the inside at the defensive tackles and maybe add McCord and Kane to the outside to get more pressure on the pocket and try to pressure Mike Glennon into throwing a football where it shouldn't go.
By the way, let's see if conditioning is an issue in the second half today. Temperature of 87 degrees to start. It feels like 95. And this week in Raleigh, temperature started out in the 50s. And they practiced in the morning. That was a concern. Glennon has time, fires a bullet high, incomplete, and a pop on the wide receiver, no flag. Charlie Hedges was the intended receiver. It was Deion Bush, who didn't get the start today. The freshman from right here in Miami delivered the hit.
Well, I know Al Golden wanted to get a faster group on the field in 3rd down situations, almost like the New York Giants do in the NFL, and that's a good break on the football. I'm not so sure Deion Bush needed to make the hit because that could have drawn a flag, but nice coverage in the Miami secondary, and they're getting it coached up on the sidelines.
Will Bauman to punt it away. Miami came after it. And a fair catch asked for and taken by Phillip Dorsett. NC State puts a drive together but can't capitalize on 3rd down. So Miami on offense for the 2nd time today.
Welcome to Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal.
On a red hot day in Miami, neither team able to score on its first possession. And let's get the Miami key to the game.
Miami loves the screen game, and they can call it anywhere on the football field because there's pressure brought a lot on the outside. Last week it was Georgia Tech. This week NC State. They like to bring more bodies than you can protect. And when you have backs like Duke Johnson and Mike James, you can do it anywhere on the field, especially in the red zone. It'll happen a little bit quicker because the defenders don't have enough room to cover. They have that back line as their 12th defender. But Miami has athletic linemen that can get out in front in space and block, just like Ben Jones does right here. He's able to spring Mike James into the end zone. So watch for the Hurricanes to run that screenplay anywhere on the football field.
And Ben Jones got the start at right tackle today in front of Eric Flowers after a good game against Georgia Tech. Duke Johnson, the freshman, trying to stretch it. And good pursuit by NC State. That defensive backfield, including Dante Johnson with the stop. Well, Duke Johnson came in as a freshman out of Miami Norland High School as a 5-star recruit, and he has lived up to the billing.
Tom, if they had 6, they would have given him 6 stars because that's how good he was as a high school athlete, and he could do it all. Kick returns, punt returns, running back. He's just a guy that is so talented, and they have to find a way to get Mike James and Duke Johnson equal carries.
Johnson leads the ACC in all-purpose yardage. Morris trying to find the pocket, now has to scramble, being chased. And he lets it go for a first down. On the money, on the run to Rashawn Scott in front of David Amerson, the talented All-American cornerback for NC State.
This is a quality that Stephen Morris possesses. He has the athleticism to get out of the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, and continue to make big plays.
Amerson got toasted week 1 against Tennessee. He is looking to bounce back, and gain of 1 up the middle for Duke Johnson. 2-time ACC Rookie of the Week.
Remember, this is a running back that does it all. 838 all-purpose yards coming into this game. That's only 4 games. That leads the nation. Willis McGahee, he's UM's leader with over 2,000 yards at 21:02. That happened in 2002.
Miami's had some pretty good running backs in the day. And Johnson got off to a fantastic debut. That one led the receiver incomplete for Phillip Dorsett. He's coming off of a huge game against Georgia Tech. Dorsett had 9 grabs for 184 yards against the Yellow Jackets, including a touchdown just 51 seconds in for 64 yards. His yardage total for that one game was more than he had all of last season for Miami.
He's a young man I got to coach, the opportunity to coach at St. Thomas Aquinas High School up the road here in Broward County, and he's a tough athlete and he's very productive. One of those playmakers you like on the offensive side.
Duke Johnson back in the game again, and over the middle, incomplete. Coverage in the secondary by Earl Wolf. Alan Hearns was the intended receiver. Wolf was the ACC Player of the Week against UConn. He had 7 tackles in just 3 quarters of play. And a defensive battle with the Huskies.
Tom, I've been impressed the way the Wolfpack defensively have been able to break on the football. When they've been able to stay in coverage and keep Stephen Morris in the pocket, this defensive back 7 have been able to break on the football with quickness.
1 first down for Miami through 2 possessions. On 4th and 9, Dalton botched to punt it away. State came after that one pretty good. Rashard Smith, fair catch, 32-yard line. NC State back on offense after that 35-yard punt from Miami. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. No score, first quarter from Sun Life Stadium. 5 minutes into this one, Halloween early here in South Beach. Let's get the NC State key to the game.
The key is the quarterback, Mike Glennon, and his ability to keep his eyes down the field and maneuver himself in his size at 6'6" within the pocket. Watch him, he has clear vision because he has good protection. But when he feels a little threatened, he still keeps his eyes downfield, which draws the defense out of coverage. He's able to reset his feet, throw accurately, and give a chance to his playmakers on the outside to extend plays. That's what Mike Glennon can do because of his size and his athleticism, and he's been able to do that after that Tennessee game. 6 touchdown passes or 5 touchdown passes in the last 3 games.
It was an adventure on the road at UConn in horrible weather. He was sacked 6 times. A game that was essentially played on just one side of the field. False start up front, and NC State, by the way.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Tyson Chandler, who's had to flip from left tackle to right tackle today. Their normal starter, Andrew Wallace, is out at right tackle. So the shuffle along the line sends left guard R.J. Mattis back to one of his original positions at left tackle. And Duron Christoph gets a start at left guard. So a bit of a shell game up front for NC State today without Andrew Wallace out with a foot injury. Play action. Glennon, deep ball, a beauty of a pass, and that's caught for a first down for NC State and Tobias Palmer. What a throw by Mike Glennon. Pickup of 29.
We talked about Mike Glennon being able to make every throw on the football field. This time Antonio Crawford has pretty good position to the inside, but he stops his receiver with a throw. This is a throw behind intentionally on the outside to Palmer. Excellent throw on the football, great location, and nice concentration by Palmer to idle down to catch the football.
Longest grab of the season for Tobias Palmer. And now on the ground, Creasy. And Creasy lowers his shoulder. Flag on the play. He takes the sideline. And Creasy will take it inside the 10 to the goal line. And he's down at the 1 with a flag back on the 40. 2 flags down. 1 at the 45 and 1 near the 40. A 43-yard rumble by Tony Creasy.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 2. Penalty being forced half and just to the goal line. First down.
It was Dion Bush, the safety, with the face mask. What a run by Creasy.
What a tough run, and yards after contact. That's just a nice block. The face mask there by Bush happened around the line of scrimmage, and then you get Paul starting for Jimmy Gaines at middle linebacker. He doesn't wrap up, and it's just the speed on the outside by Tony Creasy. He had a long of 16 coming into the game. That run over 40 yards, 43 yards to be exact.
NC State trying to open the scoring, knocking on the door inside the 1. Creasy straight ahead. Touchdown NC State as Creasy finds the goal for 3rd time this season into the end zone.
Creasy would not be denied there on 1st and goal. He just gets that pad level very low, and he hugs in behind that big offensive line. Zach Allen, the right guard, led the way against the Canes, and this is exactly the way NC State wanted to start this football game. 3 plays, 68 yards, under a minute, so they're able to go a distance against Miami in this heat and be able to take a lead.
Nicholas Sadie on to attempt the extra point. He puts it through. Miami is no stranger to being down. They trailed big to Boston College to open the season on the road. They trailed big in the second half to Georgia Tech on the road. They came back both times.
This is just a great job of this offensive line getting out in front of Tony Creasy, and then yards after first contact. Just an excellent job of effort to the outside. Watch him push his offensive lineman, Camden Wentz, the center, out in front, and then he uses his speed to get to the edge. He almost gets into the end zone on that big-time run, but after the face mask penalty, he's able to push it in from inside the 2-yard line. So NC State gets a big lead, 4 rushes on the afternoon, Tom, and this is a guy that NC State, the Wolfpack, wants to have him back in the lineup because they don't want to spend a lot of time and a lot of pressure on Thornton, the freshman running back who had career numbers against the Citadel last week.
That's a 17th big play of the season for NC State. Almost half of their total from last year. And so the offense with the big play setting up the touchdown plunge. Duke Johnson, Phillip Dorsett stand at the goal line for Miami.
And you've got 2 guys back there in Dorsett being able to break one in a heartbeat, as well as Johnson. So if Miami would like to get back in this game, if they can return it, first of all.
Second touchback boomed through the end zone by Nicholas Sadie. And a little scuffle at the end of that kickoff. Traditional powerhouses collide as conference play begins in the Big Ten. 14th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes versus number 20 Michigan State. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on ABC. Part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal.
Big game for Michigan State. Can they bounce back? Do they have enough ability to bounce back against an Ohio State team who really, I'm not so sure what kind of identity they're going to have. They've started fast. Can they continue on even with the sanctions looming at the end of the year, not being able to go anywhere after the regular season?
It's a pride season for Urban Meyer and Ohio State, and trying to lay the foundation there in Columbus. James and Clements in the game at the same time for Miami. Morris wants to throw. He wants a deep ball. He has a man. Caught! And a Miami first down for Rashawn Scott. That big play ability evident right off the bat for Miami. A 52-yard catch on a deep throw from Morris.
Morris throws a dime down the field, but credit this offensive line. Stephen had all day to find his big play receiver on the outside, Scott, that goes for 52, and Miami right back at it. 1st and 10 inside the 25.
And a little trickery. This is Dorsett trying to find the edge. And he gets forced out of bounds. They put a wildcat formation in on that play, and now Morris will be back at quarterback.
Tom, we've seen a lot of movement, a lot of different formations out of UM so far in this first quarter. You have to think that Jed Fish likes to maneuver those playmakers around. And remember, against Georgia Tech last week, this is where they like the screen game.
So out of the eye, they get NC State to jump.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Contact foul. First down.
How big are big plays for Miami? 40% of their scoring drives this season have lasted less than 2 minutes. Against Georgia Tech, they had a 17-play drive, a 91-yard drive, and a 5.5-minute drive. So they can either hit you quick or they can draw it out. James is a tailback. They're looking for that same route into the end zone. And caught. Touchdown, Allen Hurns. Flag on the play. I thought Hurns had stepped out before the ball got to him, but it looked like he got his feet down when it was there.
Defense number 34. That penalty will be declined. Local play as a touchdown.
If Hearns did indeed go out of bounds, he can't be the first man to touch it when he comes back in.
We're going to get another good look at this. Stephen Morris takes advantage of the penalty flag. It looks like that toe may have been on the white before he was able to get one inbounds. Boy, that's close. Another look on the outside. His next step right here looks inbounds, and the official's right there. I think he's in. I think that's going to be a catch. Just great job of concentration, of going up and getting the football. There you can see it. I'm not so sure it's on the white.
Must be indisputable video evidence to overturn. Every play in college football is reviewed, and so they're taking extra time to look at this one. On the scoring toss from Morris to Hearns.
Talk about a balancing act on the outside. That was a terrific job by Allen Hearns, and a really good job by quarterback Stephen Morris, ignoring the penalty call or the flag and continuing with taking a shot into the end zone, because the worst thing they can do is bring it back.
Well, it was the exact same play call, 2 in a row, even after the flag. How come NC State didn't recognize that?
I believe when you get a play call early, they're going in the end zone.
After video review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Tom, I think the reason why both times after the penalty flags, UM receivers went into the end zone, I think that's a taught play. When you see a flag down, you continue, go into the end zone and take a shot at 6 points.
And the extra point is good. Miami with the quick strike offense responds with just 3 plays to cover 75 yards. In the final, a touchdown catch with great footwork from Allen Hearns. NC State and Miami tied at 7. 8:40 remaining in the first quarter. 3 plays, 75-yard scoring drive, and now 9 of 21 scoring drives in the season for Miami have burned less than 2 minutes off the clock.
Quick strike attack by Miami. Stephen Morris going down the middle first to Scott, and then Hearns for the 14-yard touchdown. Remember, pivotal game for both of these teams, both sitting at 3-1, wanting to take control of the ACC.
Jake Whiteclaw to kick off. Tobias Palmer stands at the 1. This is a short kick. Palmer's got to rush all the way up to the 11 to take it. And he gets popped at the 12-yard line. Flag on the play. Ntamba Akil Frentress nearly cut him in half on that tackle. What a hit by Fentress in special teams.
During the return, legal block in the back on the return team, number 90. Penalty will be at half positions to the goal line. First down.
Mike Rose out of Simpsonville, South Carolina, draws the flag right in the middle of your screen.
Big penalty for NC State, but now Miami defensively, Tom, has an opportunity. If they want to change the complexion of this game, keep the momentum on their sideline, this defense, who's had problems getting off the football field, needs to come out at least gaining field position. They would love a 3-and-out, but at least contain field position for their offense.
Freshman Shadrack Thornton had a huge game last week. High snap. Glennon's going to take it and take the hit for a safety. He had nowhere to go. Jelani Hamilton found him. So did the same guy who made that big special teams tackle, Ntamba Fentress.
Fentress was in there as well as the freshman, Jelani Hamilton. High snap to Mike Glennon, and that's exactly what Miami's defense wanted to have happen. He's 6'6", maybe should have caught the football. It looked like his head, he was almost taking it for granted. It goes through high and outside. And Glennon, a helpless feeling for a quarterback, does the smart thing and just takes the safety.
And Glennon shaking that right hand. And that right arm is 4th in school history with 38 career touchdown passes. Well, Miami thought it had a wild one last week on the flats. How about this start? And head coach Al Golden has his team focused today, and that was the message the entire week, to not get ahead of ourselves, not dwell on the win or Notre Dame coming up next week.
Well, remember, when we talked to him yesterday, Tom, they need to play at a winning level, not just going out and playing. That's the difference between Miami teams of the past and the way Al Golden's trying to mold this football team. He's trying to make this team really take a look and focus at every day at practice. Every football game is an opportunity to get better. And if this team is going to take the next step, it's games like this today that they have to win at home.
Free kick for NC State. And so they'll punt it from the 20. And this should be an opportunity for Dorsett and Johnson, two talented return men, who stand shy of their own 20. Will Bauman averages 40 yards a punt from the line of scrimmage. He will kick it away here from the 20. A little miscommunication, and it gets by Duke Johnson. Gets all the way down to the 6 before he scoops it. Johnson finds room up the middle, and he spins his way to the 26-yard line. It was a long way to go for a 6-yard return. Jacob Tart with the special teams tackle.
Anytime you have young people in the back in special teams, it was you got it, I got it, nobody's got it. It splits the defenders in Johnson and Dorsett. Duke did a great job of getting the football back outside of the 25-yard line, but that could have been horrendous. And we talk about young players, 17 freshmen on this football team that are playing. It's the guys that are involved, not just taking up space, but counted on to be productive.
That miscommunication may have cost Miami as much as 25 yards of field position. So they try to get it back on the ground, and Duke Johnson, who runs a 4.39 40, picks up 6 yards on first down.
Last set of downs, we talked about Miami's defense coming up with a big play. Now NC State's defense needs to make a stand.
To throw. Caught. Miami first down and more. Here goes Hearns. Hearns in a foot race and gets taken down inside the 30-yard line. Earl Wolf with the tackle after a pickup of 40 for Hearns.
Stephen Morris threw Allen Hearns open. Watch him hit him on the proper shoulder. Leads him to the outside where the soft coverage is. And he's able to split the defenders. And Allen Hearns is using his speed for a big play.
Here's Mike James with a cutback up the hash. And he gets wrestled down inside the 20 by Earl Wolf. Second straight tackle for Wolf after a big Miami gain. Leaving 2nd and 1 as the Hurricanes go up tempo.
Al Golden, the 3 things he's looking for: conditioning, mental toughness, and unity. So far early in this football game, all 3 playing a part.
And all 3 elements that led to a comeback win in overtime against Georgia Tech last weekend. False start on Miami.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Jeremy Lewis gets whistled for the jump. We said it was a hot one, and it's been cool all week up in North Carolina, though temperatures rose at the tail end. But NC State practices in the morning. That meant 50-degree practices early this week. Today it's 85. The heat index has it into the 90s. And batted away at the line of scrimmage. I thought it was kind of funny when Al Golden told us yesterday they want to put the Sun back in Sun Life Stadium, but he feels, as the only Division I team in subtropic climate, that this could be an advantage for them.
Al feels like if Miami wins, if we win, people are going to come out no matter what time they play. So they might as well use the sun and the heat and the humidity here in South Florida to their advantage. It might not take place till the second half of a football game, but if you get a high-tempo offense like Miami's running right now, it's definitely going to wear down a defense.
Eduardo Clements in the game for Miami, and deep ball again. Caught! Touchdown Miami, Phillip Dorsett. Hurricanes wasting no time, and the numbers flip again. It's a 15-7 lead and a barrage of points put up by Stephen Morris in a hurry.
And Morris is on target and on time and on fire in the humidity. A strike to Phillip Dorsett coming off of his career highs last week for catches and yards, and a long of 65. He goes 24 for the score there.
So Stephen Morris leads Miami on another scoring drive.
Phillip Dorsett has this talent. He's down at the bottom of the screen, and watch this route. All he's going to do is just release outside and beat the DB with speed. Little stutter, and then he beats him. He dips that inside shoulder, and he's able to get behind the coverage, man-to-man coverage, no help on the inside. And remember, David Amerson, he's one of those guys that are going to guess routes. Well, he guessed wrong that time because the speed and the precision passing from Dorsett and Morris lead to a 16-7 lead.
Stephen Morris has started this game 6 for 9 for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's hotter than Mickelson and Bradley right now.
That's tough to do right now. You know, he's coming, talk about career highs. He's coming off a 436-yard performance where he had career highs in yards, in completions with 31, attempts with 52. These are numbers that haven't been done since Gino Torretta last was here in 91 with 485 against San Diego State. Ken Dorsey had 422 in 02 against West Virginia. So this is a guy that's feeling that he's got the hot hand. You might as well ride it.
609 yards of offense for Miami last week against Georgia Tech. Their most since they put up 689 against UCLA in 98. Palmer back to receive. And Tobias Palmer has room this time, but lost his footing at the 10 and gets cut down right there by Eduardo Clements. ESPNU has more college football on the way later today at 3:30. The Virginia Tech Hokies take on Cincinnati. Then at 7, third-ranked LSU takes on Towson in Death Valley. Virginia Tech, Cincinnati at 3:30. Then Towson against number 3 LSU at 7. Today on ESPNU and also live on Watch ESPN. Part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal.
Tom, we had an opportunity to watch Virginia Tech in back-to-back weeks and how they bounce back from the loss at Pittsburgh and come back and win against Bowling Green. And you know, what kind of team does Cincinnati have? I believe the answers to that question will be found out around 3:30 today.
NC State backed up again. This is their 3rd straight possession that has started inside their own 20. Glennon fires a bullet complete at the 20-yard line. And still room to run for Underwood, who takes it out to the 30-yard line. Brian Underwood had knee surgery 3 weeks before the season opener. But he is red hot. He's caught a touchdown in 4 straight games for NC State. That's the longest in school history. 2nd longest, I should say, behind only Corian Robinson, who had 5 straight to open the season in 2000 from Phillip Rivers.
Defining drive right here by quarterback Mike Glennon in this NC State offense. They have to take the crowd and calm down their offense and just run it.
Glennon with time has a man off the fingertips. That was Underwood again, who got loose in the zone. And that's a pass Mike Glennon would like to have back. Was that a good route from Underwood?
Well, he was pushed off of his landmark. He got outside of that hash. And I think Glennon was thinking he was going to go upfield a little bit more. See how he rounded it off after he got by the under coverage. You have to lay out, you have to make that play. Either putting it on his numbers as the quarterback or a receiver making that throw look really good. That's a big play in this drive to keep the momentum on the NC State side.
And now on the ground, Thornton, the freshman, gets tripped up just past the line of scrimmage. Shadrack Thornton had 0 carries the first 3 games. Because of injury, he was called upon last week against the Citadel. He went for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns last week.
Mike, 7 different players on the field from 2nd to 3rd down for the Canes.
3rd down, Glennon rolls, trying to elude the pressure, and he backs straight up. And Miami was able to bring that pressure that time.
3rd down, a key for both of these football teams, trying to stay on the field for the Wolfpack and get off the field for the Hurricanes. Mark D'Onofrio, the defensive coordinator for Miami, brings 7 fresh bodies to try to change the complexion of 3rd down. This is a team that hasn't been able to get off the field, but they do a good job there and may get decent field position as a result.
Will Bauman on to punt it away again. Phillip Dorsett back. Beautiful kick. Will drive Dorsett to the 20. Dorsett finds a sideline. He's got room. Dorsett to midfield in a hurry. He's gonna go! Phillip Dorsett takes it the distance. 80-yard return, but a flag back on the 26. A lot of starters on Miami special teams, including running backs. And Eduardo Clements was on the field for that punt return for Miami, which will likely come back.
During the return, legal block in the back on the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
48-yard punt, 80-yard return. It was still a nice run despite the ball. That's where they got him right there at the 30. And then a layout block at midfield.
It may have been the block of Eduardo Clements, the first one that springs Phillip Dorsett. This is the block right there. The block in the back that they're talking about, the first one that springs Dorsett. Now there's another block that comes back here.
Gabriel Terry.
Terry with a knockout, a deke leader that springs Dorsett down the sidelines.
Terry hit him like an office linebacker.
Yeah. Coming back though, but Dorsett doing a nice job in the offensive scheme with that touchdown in the last set of downs and on special teams.
Mike James in the game now. Play action to him. NC State brought the pressure, and on the rollout complete to the 20-yard line to Clive Walford, the tight end from Belle Glade, Florida. Rodman Noel, the tackle for NC State.
Really like how both quarterbacks are kind of up-tempo today for both teams, and they're controlling their offense. Not a lot of penalties, getting guys lined up, but being accurate with the football.
They've got Duke Johnson spread out, and this is James who gets the carry from the fullback position. Ricky Dowdy with the stop.
Stephen Morris has had probably the better afternoon so far. 7 of 10 for 149, huge numbers, 2 touchdowns, and Mike Glennon's been forced over the last couple of set of downs to leave the pocket. So he's looking for that offensive line that's been revamped a little bit today to provide him a little bit better protection.
Movement up front once again. Free play, deep ball, wide open. Rashawn Scott's gonna take it. Free play, 60 easy way, and a 76-yard catch and run from Morris to Scott.
Tom, you cannot stop playing on defense. When you see the flag or a whistle, you have to keep playing. That's the second time the Miami offense has run a go route. Every time they hear a whistle or a defensive penalty, right there, people in the neutral zone, Miami keeps playing. That's a green light for Stephen Morris to say, hey, we're going over the top, might be able to get a freebie. The freebie ends up in a big 76-yard touchdown by Scott.
Second big play for Scott today. He also had a 52-yarder, and the extra point banged through. Miami has scored 23 straight points after trailing on NC State's second possession. It's a third pass of 40 yards or more for Morris today.
Stephen Morris is red hot. He's been on target, and he's been able to use his wisdom, his knowledge, his understanding of what's going on in a penalty. Everybody stops and wearing white jerseys, and it's David Amerson again. You cannot fall asleep. You just got beat the series before by Phillip Dorsett in the same situation. You can't come back and do it twice.
Mike Archer said he thought Amerson learned his lesson against Tennessee. Said he got beat 3 big times in camp. Didn't learn his lesson until he was embarrassed on national TV on that Friday night against Tennessee. Can Amerson bounce back here today and tighten up his coverage? Here's Tobias Palmer for North Carolina State to the 20. Makes a kicker miss at the 30. Gets to the 40. He's got the sideline and a half step. And goes down the sideline, but whistled out at the 38-yard line. Tobias Palmer trying to give the Wolfpack a boost that they need here before the first quarter can end.
What a great job of using patience in the return. Just little moves inside the numbers and the sideline, and then he tries to use his speed to outrush the second special teams on the play, but a huge return of 76 yards. I'm sorry.
50-yard
50
return
yards.
for Palmer. So back-to-back big plays in this game, special teams and offense. And Shadrack Thornton, the freshman, takes the ball, makes a man miss at the 40, gets swallowed by orange jerseys at the 38. Dion Bush, the freshman from Columbus High School in Miami, did not get the start today. He was replaced by Casey Rogers II, but Bush at his safety spot has made a couple of big tackles for the Canes.
Highly sought after athlete, bright future with the Hurricanes. Dion Bush, one of those guys out of Miami Columbus High School.
Right side, room again. Thornton lowers his shoulder and takes it to the 30. A.J. Highsmith with the tackle.
Tom, we have some talented running backs on both sides of the football. We've already seen Tony Creasy for the Wolfpack. Now you get Thornton, the freshman, who had career numbers in his first start as a freshman last week against the Citadel. 21 rushes for 145 yards. He has 17 today, but 2 touchdowns. He just had a career day in his opener last week.
They're sticking with Thornton here. He's got room on the left side. He gets spun down after a gain of nearly 2 by Eddie Johnson, redshirt freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, who had 9 tackles in his homecoming against Georgia Tech last week.
Time for NC State offensively just to calm down. It's 23-7. The Hurricanes have been able to make big plays. Now they have to cash in on this drive. Still the first quarter, plenty of time in this football game. If you're Mike Glennon, #1 priority right here is protect the football.
Thornton, left side, lost the football. Miami scoops it up. And the Hurricanes, A.J. Highsmith, the former quarterback, gets another chance for a carry. He had Green in front of him, but he returns it to the 45 roughly. And Miami with the takeaways, staying in control here in the first quarter.
Tom, we were just talking about protecting the football because you can affect the score on this drive if you can stick it in the end zone. That's just a nice tackle at the point of attack by Johnny Paul. He gets that right arm on the football right there. He bangs that right arm and knocks the football loose from Thornton. And then the former quarterback, the former cornerback and safety had great hands to scoop and try to score. A.J. Highsmith.
He got tackled by his own man. Anthony Chickalo brought him down. Quick pass to the perimeter on first down, and Herb Waters. And a Miami team that will run the screen anywhere with anyone. Tailbacks, wide receivers, red zone, middle of the field.
And that's almost like a screen. They're stretching you vertically with the big passes over the last 2 series. Now they stretch you sideline to sideline.
Play action, Morris goes over the middle, complete for a first down. And a physical tackle of Phillip Dorsett that rips his helmet off. Dorsett will take his seat for one play. Ricky Dowdy brought him down. You know, some teams have complained this season that opponents are targeting the helmet and taking it off on purpose to get key players to miss plays. It looked that time like Dowdy was just trying to get him down. So here they go again to the perimeter, and again to Herb Waters. And Rodney Noel with the stop.
Tom, you can see what they're trying to do to this defense. They're trying to make them run sideline to sideline. I just think the hand came up from the shoulder pad and actually got to the side, the ear, where the ear of the helmet, but that could have drawn a penalty very easily.
On second down, the freshman Johnson, and he lowers his shoulder and leaps his way inside the 30. Earl Wolf with the stop.
Boy, before the fumble, you could tell that Miami had the momentum, had a big lead in this game to start the football game, and you can tell on the scoreboard as well as total yards, Miami racking up the yards. But if they can get points out of this drive, it might be too much for NC State early in this first quarter.
Off the hands of Clive Walford. So maybe a missed opportunity for Miami on first down. And an injured player on the field for the Hurricanes.
Looks like it's Ben Jones grabbing that ankle, that left ankle.
Jones had a tremendous game against Georgia Tech, graded out at over 95%, so he earned the start today in front of talented freshman Eric Flowers at right tackle. Miami has seen enough lower leg injuries. Wide receiver Malcolm Lewis went down with an ugly one in the first quarter against Georgia Tech last week.
Tom, we were talking before the broadcast about the lack of big plays last year in Miami's offense. I believe they only had 5 scoring plays of 50 yards or plus, or just big chunk plays. You know, this year alone, Duke Johnson has 4 plays of over 50 yards if you count special teams. And today, Miami's been able to strike with the big play. They've been able to take advantage of penalties against the defense, keep playing, and it turned into 14 points for them.
One of the ways they're getting big plays is by being aggressive early in their series. Jed Fish says we want to be balanced on first and second down so we can throw on third, but Morris is throwing on every down.
Yeah, when he has the hot hand, you might as well go to the junior and say, it's your day. We're going to let you throw to your playmakers on the outside. Hearns had a big play. Dorsett had a big play. Rashawn Scott goes 76 yards for a touchdown. So you've got your hot quarterback being able to use all of his playmakers. It's just not one guy. It's really a 2, 3, 4 guys plus the running backs in this offense that leads to those numbers.
Those are his overall numbers. Vertical routes 15 yards or plus. He's 4 for 5 today. And this is a short route that may turn into a big game for James. To the 20 and a spin move. Lowers his shoulder, stays on his feet. James takes it inside the 10 and all the way to the 5. How many hits can Mike James take?
Mike James is special. I mean, yards after first contact, there's 5, there's 10, there's 15, there's 20 yards after first contact. That's incredible.
And 7 hits on James before they finally brought him down.
And this Wolfpack team's getting tired defensively.
It's Ricky Dowdy, one of their linebackers, who will leave the field with an injury. NC State practices in the early morning in Raleigh. And while that's a good thing to get it done before classes start, sometimes this time of the year brings weather into the equation. While it's nice and cool and comfortable at home, now they're in the subtropical heat of Miami. Mike James is in the backfield. NC State jump, another free play, and that's incomplete. And another flag on pass interference is Noel, the linebacker, who got a little happy coming off sides on a blitz.
And Brandon Bishop's going to get the second flag for pass interference or holding in the end zone. Not the start.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offsides, defense number 5. The penalty will be declined. Pass interference, defense. The penalty occurred in the end zone. Therefore, by rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
So Miami knocking on the door again in a wild first quarter.
Here's the interference on the inside, just holding the receiver Johnson, trying to get in on that quick slant, and Bishop draws the penalty.
Timeout NC State. Was that a catchable pass?
You know what, Tom? Right now, they're at the 2-yard line. They're looking to go up 30-7. You could say yes, but I'll take the penalty.
Well, Stephen Morris has found success all over the field today for Miami. After throwing for better than 400 yards last week, here he is off to a red-hot start today. And the vertical routes are what get your attention. 152 yards of 15 plus.
And it's been that go route to the short side of the field, his left side, that has really cashed in. 2 for 2 for the length of a football field, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So both big plays coming on penalties that it seemed like NC State, for one reason or another, seemed to shut it down for a split second. But that's all Stephen Morris needed to find his playmakers behind the secondary.
He threw the ball 52 times last week against Georgia Tech for a career-high 436 yards. He threw it 45 times in the opener against Boston College. On first and goal, he'll throw it again. Over the middle, tip, picked! Intercepted by NC State's Sterling Lucas. The Pack led the nation in interceptions last year, and this year they came in with 6 in the first 4 games. 11th best in college football.
Tom, you asked it on that last PI if the ball should have been caught or a catchable ball, and I said, well, maybe. This one needs to be put down in the numbers for Welford to be able to catch the football in tight quarters. When you're throwing the football with a lot of steam on it, you want to be able to locate that football in the framework, and that's probably one of the only passes that Stephen Morris has thrown today that he was off the mark.
Don't forget, Miami led Georgia Tech by 19 after a burst last week to start the game. Yellow Jackets came back on them in a big way. It's a young Miami defense, and Glennon trying to take advantage with a deep ball, and that will fall at the heels of the defender. Payton was the intended receiver. It hit Antonio Crawford the back of his foot.
Remember earlier, Mike Glennon threw that intentional throw behind on the Miami sideline. I think he was trying to get his wide receiver Quentin Payton to idle down because it was really nice coverage by the Hurricanes down the field. Wow, NC State at their own 2-yard line. Now they have a little bit of life going towards the second quarter by keeping Miami off the scoreboard.
Glennon, another deep ball, same direction. Caught! NC State with the big play. And this one will take it inside the 5-yard line for Quentin Payton. Flag down at the 42. If it stands, it's a 73-yard gain.
Looks like it's going to go against the Hurricanes, and talked about getting life back into the NC State sideline. The defense set it up with the turnover.
Pass interference. Defense 29. Penalty will be declined. Result of play, first down.
In week 1, Quentin Payton had 129 yards receiving against Tennessee. That was more than he had all of last year. This 73-yarder is a season long for the junior from Anderson, South Carolina. Ends the first quarter on a high note from NC State. Attacking plays on back-to-back, and the Wolfpack in business after the first quarter ends. ESPNU College Football is brought to you by City Private Pass. More music, more sports, more family, more dining. Get more access with a City card. 23-7, Miami leads NC State as we start the second quarter. 519 total yards combined in the first quarter, and here's how it came to an end.
Mike Glennon's able to go down the field 73 yards to Quentin Payton, who was racing to the end zone. Just a great job of getting their team back into this football game, because remember, it was 1st and goal to 2. Miami up 23-7 right before the first quarter ended, and they get the interception, and now Glennon comes back. And look at the total yards for Miami compared to NC State. Both teams offensively getting it done.
We may be here a while.
Yeah, I know.
And so Glennon back on the field as NC State will set up a 1st and goal. Glennon took over for Russell Wilson. Tom O'Brien said it wasn't pretty when it went down, but it's turned out the best for everybody. Best for Russell, best for Glennon, best for NC State. And a dump pass to the running back, tight end. Wolfpack, Tony Creasy takes it in. Miami had the big lead last week against Georgia Tech and gave it up.
Just a good job of recognition. Somebody has to displace when the running back Creasy gets outside, Tom. Nobody in the Hurricanes looked outside. Everybody had their eyes on the quarterback, Mike Glennon. We talked about how cerebral he is making decisions after that first week against Tennessee. When he had the turnovers, he's come back strong. He comes back strong there with a 3-play drive for a touchdown.
Nicholas Sadie boots it through. That touchdown won't go in the first quarter numbers, but how about this start here today? 37 points through 1 quarter and 4 seconds.
All Creasy's going to do on the outside is come out here, but somebody from the UM has to come out here or be able to come off and be able to get to the running back. No one else displaces. Everybody's blitzing downhill. It's man-to-man coverage. Nobody comes across. It was either the far side linebacker or the near side linebacker that has the first man out to the weak side. Everybody's eyes were in the backfield, and it's an easy 6 points.
Is this a pace that NC State wants?
I'm not so sure they want this pace, but they're into this pace right now. I'm not so sure they would like to control the tempo of the game. I don't know if they'll take a 3-play 80-yard drive anytime they can get it, but I'm not so sure they want to be up-tempo for the entire game, because that plays into the strength of conditioning and being in this heat in Miami, for Miami.
94 plays last week for Miami and Georgia Tech, something that the Hurricane coaches said we never expected, especially playing against a triple option team. NC State played a triple option team in the Citadel last week as well. And the concern from defensive coaches is the week after you play an option team, how can you respond, and how long does it take during that practice week to deprogram all the run defense?
How can you hit the delete button and still get production moving forward? Because let's face it, these are young kids. No matter if you're playing freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or seniors, they've had plenty of time to digest the option. Now they have to get rid of it and get ready for today.
Another tremendous kick from Sadie. That's his 3rd touchback here today. And Stephen Morris is red hot. Over his last 5 quarters, he's accounted for 707 yards.
That's incredible.
43 of 69 over the last 5 quarters for 707 yards, 5 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Good for you, Stephen Morris. That's a way to play the quarterback position with precision and accuracy, and being able to be out there to lead your team to a lot of points in those 5 quarters.
Duke Johnson is in the backfield. They'll throw on 1st down, and they swing it out to Dorsett, who's got 4.39 speed. Brandon Bishop brings him down. So offensive coordinator Jed Fish, when we said, gosh, you threw it 52 times last week, do you want to do it? He said, no, that's a little much, but Stephen Morris, pardon me, has options to check from run plays to pass plays, and he does a good job of taking advantage of that.
He really does. He gets in and out of plays that don't look good at the line of scrimmage, and they run to the soft bubble or run to where they can count down the defenders. And Jed talked to us yesterday about that. He says he has about 6 or 8 plays that are designed, one for Mike James, one for Duke Johnson, but after that, he just lets Stephen Morris get to the line of scrimmage and get them in the best situation possible.
On 3rd and 1, nowhere to go for Mike James. And NC State coming up with good run support from Earl Wolf, who's been active. So has Dante Johnson.
Boy, nice defensive stand for the Wolfpack. You mentioned Earl Wolf at the point of attack, 27. He came up and laid the lick to Mike James, and Mike James is not an easy back to take down with one guy. That time Earl Wolf was able to do that.
So is Miami throwing too much? Morris is on pace for 65+ attempts here today through the 1st quarter plus. Tobias Palmer, fair catch at the 28. Pardon me, Richard Smith with the fair catch. We haven't seen much defense today. So here's the lone highlight we can show you on the defensive side of the ball. Keeps that up, he'll be a famous Amos before long. But that end zone at Georgia Tech saw a lot of scoring last week. And NC State on the road to open ACC play once again for head coach Tom O'Brien. 21st among active head coaches with 109 career wins. The last time State opened ACC play at Carter Finley Stadium, Tom O'Brien was the head coach at Boston College. So once again, the challenge to open on the road in ACC play. Glennon drilled on 1st down, loss of football, covered by Miami. Was he down? And was it an incomplete pass? Sheon Green was the one who drilled him. Miami football.
Green comes in clean from the top of the screen and gets a big-time hit.
Pardon me, Eddie Johnson hit him. Green recovered.
Green getting the recovery. Johnson, number 44, He's the guy that comes in. That's definitely the ball's out. The ball's moving when Glennon was going down to the ground. Let's see if a knee is down on the ground first. That ball's out. That's a fumble. That's a good play by Eddie Johnson, who's one of those leaders. You mentioned in 9 total tackles last week. He comes up now with a sack, a forced fumble, and gets a big-time field position for his offense.
Second takeaway for the Canes today. And Duke Johnson with the carry. Takes it inside the 15-yard line. They said that Duke Johnson's talent was evident as soon as he got an opportunity to carry the ball for Miami in fall practice.
Yeah, he had that first scrimmage where he went crazy, and then the second scrimmage confirmed what they saw all through his high school career, and what he's done through 4 games has been incredible.
Stephen Morris to throw again to the end zone again, and incomplete. Trying to find Alan Hearns, covered by Earl Wolf.
Nice coverage in the secondary that time by the Wolfpack defense for Stephen Morris really to throw the football away. He tried to get it close to Alan Hearns on the outside, but that was more of a good decision to throw the football away and come back on 3rd and long.
C.J. Wilson in the game at cornerback for NC State, back after an NCAA suspension. He's been getting work all week with the starters, and they dump it off to Clements, and he takes it inside the 10. Wilson before this week had been working with the scout team, and Tom O'Brien said there'd be no question that he'd be back and get some snaps today. So he will flip on the other side of the field with David Amerson.
Nice call on 3rd down, Tom. That little screen, that little quick screen again, but NC State better on 3rd down to force this field goal opportunity.
On 4th and 2, it's Jake Whiteclaw, who's second in the ACC in field goal percentage. 25-yard attempt. And they're going to fake it. They needed 2. They get it. Miami first down. Dalton Botts just took off with it. What in the world is going on here today?
I thought that was Mike James or Duke Johnson carrying the football. Watch this. He's wrapped up well short of the first down. He breaks the arm tackle of Johnson that was 3 yards deep in the backfield. Dalton Bolts might be getting special teams. They might as well keep him out there for the goal line team here. Great run. You don't see that every day, and you hope right now that Brian Slade for the Wolfpack is okay. He's one of those defensive ends that can bring it, but this is unbelievable. Botts breaks the tackle around the 11-yard line, which would have been well short of the first down, and just carries 3 Wolfpack defenders, and Al Golden sprinting down the sideline saying, keep him in there.
Well, he was a high school quarterback at Taft Union in Bakersfield. He rushed for 800 yards and 9 touchdowns with 109 carries as a quarterback, and that's his 2nd carry of the season. Maybe Duke Johnson can run like a kicker here to the right side, and the freshman leaps to get to the 2. Sterling Lucas with the stop. Don't tell a kicker that he's not an athlete. Dalton Botts is the punter, serves as the holder for Miami, and he takes it for the first down. Nice play, Mr. Botts. Injured player is Earl Wolf, who's been key player defensively for NC State from his spot at the boundary safety.
He really has. You can't afford to lose Earl Wolf, because on the play before, Brian Slade went out of the football game, and now you have a guy that's a really good open field tackler, a guy that comes down with authority from that boundary safety position. Take another look and see him throwing his body out to try to bring Duke Johnson down, and he grabs that left side, that left forearm and left wrist right away.
Second and goal for Miami. Mike James is the running back. Hagan's the fullback in front of him. He's Mike James, and he battles his way just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Ricky Dowdy with the stop. They called a screen from the 12-yard line last week. Would they do it from the 2?
I don't think so, but you want to be careful with the football, especially what happened last time down. Stephen Morris maybe threw it just a touch high, and it ended up being an interception. Now you have man-to-man coverage to the short side of the screen.
Now we got a polecat going.
This could be quarterback run.
Morris scrambles, dumps, incomplete. They split out the tackle, Chantrell Henderson and Asante Cleveland, to the wide side of the field. So they could have had a screen out there.
And credit this Wolfpack defense, but really, for stopping the Miami Hurricanes twice in the red zone.
Dalton Botch is the holder. He's also a runner. And Whiteclaw on 4th down bangs it off the upright.
And NC State keeps them off the board.
Unbelievable stop after the miss from 19 yards. They faked the 25-yarder. They got on the doorstep, but they got a little fancy. Miami can't find points on that possession. 23-14, NC State ball. (23-14) Miami with the lead, but it could be so much more. Al Golden said we need to get over the hump here. For so long it's been feast or famine. 2010 they started 7-3, they lost 3 in a row. 2008 same thing. 2007 they started 4-1, lost 6 of 7. In 06 they started 5-2 and lost 4 in a row. He said we cannot afford to slip into that same mentality, which made today such a big game for Miami.
And that's why the Hurricanes are so hard to figure out. They're so young on both sides of the football that from quarter to quarter, you don't know if you're going to get the good Miami Hurricanes or maybe the mediocre Miami Hurricanes. And right now, they've had 2 chances to go from the 2-yard line, and they've come up empty on both tries.
Kadarius Whitehead with the carry for NC State. He takes it off the left side. Here's a look at Miami squandering opportunities twice from the 2-yard line. This first one was a tip pass and a pick for NC State. And then they got a little fancy on 3rd down. That led to this chip shot field goal that was doinked.
Tom, you mentioned it twice inside the 5-yard line and come away with no points in a game where you really could have put it away.
Again on the ground, and again they turn to Kadarius Whitehead, the freshman from Lithonia, Georgia. And he takes it just short of the 30. So we've seen a handful of running backs already for NC State today. Mustafa Green was the leading rusher off the bench in 2010. He's been suspended. Was suspended after the UConn game. And pardon me, that was Brandon Barnes at tailback the last couple plays. 2 number 9s on the NC State roster. Barnes, the 5th-year senior.
And another injury, Tom.
Zach Allen, the right guard, is injured. And so a host of running backs getting opportunities for NC State all season. Barnes, the senior from Bunn, North Carolina.
And remember, James Washington and Mustafa Green, they're out for this game. So Tony Creasy's been the main guy, and Thornton, the freshman, laid it on the ground last series. So now you see Brandon Barnes, the redshirt senior, in the football game for Tom O'Brien's offense.
Barnes only played in special teams against Tennessee, did not see action against UConn, and has totaled 57 yards so far this season with action against South Alabama and the Citadel. Zach Allen, the right guard, got rolled up. Number 72.
And you could tell right away a lot of people on the back of the legs of Zach Allen.
So an injured player for NC State will step away for a timeout. 2nd and 8 coming up for the Pack. 23-14, Miami leads NC State, but the Pack working with a patchwork offensive line here today. And the newest member to go down, Zach Allen from Tifton, Georgia, replaced by another Georgia native. Cameron Fordham will now take over at right guard. Fordham is an LSU transfer. He's from Duluth, Georgia. Redshirted 1 season on the Bayou at LSU. 2nd and 8 for Mike Glennon. Setting up the screen. He finds Barnes. Barnes has room, and he dances out of bounds after an NC State first down.
We talk about how effective the screen is for the UM offense. That time NC State works it perfectly to the short side of the field. The new offensive lineman getting it out in space. Fordham at that right guard, replacing Zach Allen, did a nice job out in front. Glennon's numbers starting to improve, and now NC State on the move offensively.
Glennon hands it off to Barnes. Straight ahead speed, and an NC State first down into Miami territory. Brandon McGee and Casey Rogers, the second, tripped him up. At 6, number 4, Florida State looks to stay perfect against the Bulls of South Florida. Then at 9:15, the Rebels roll into Tuscaloosa for a showdown against the number 1 Tide. Number 4, Florida State versus South Florida at 6, and Ole Miss at Alabama at 9:15. Tonight on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN. Part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal. Barnes gets by a man. And another big play for Barnes as Jimmy Gaines has the tackle. Is this just a situation where Tom O'Brien is trying to find some consistency in the running game?
Well, I think it's so hot outside that they're trying to get some guys in there with fresh legs, and they didn't want to see the ball on the ground, and Thornton laid it on the ground last time. So you may see more of Barnes, the redshirt senior, instead of the true freshman Thornton at running back, along with Tony Creasy, who's now back in the football game.
And a bigger challenge for NC State with that rebuilt offensive line. Andrew Wallace out for this game with a foot injury. Here's Creasy, cuts it up the middle, drags 3 defenders with him, and carries it down to the 22 for an NC State first down. A.J. Highsmith, Tyrone Cornelius finally bring him down.
And Tom, you can put any number on these backs of NC State right now. You could say Creasy, Barnes, you could say Thornton. Everybody's running with authority, and they're running behind their pads because the first Hurricane that is at the point of attack is not bringing down these running backs with the Wolfpack. Nice, strong running in between the tackles.
All 5 of Barnes' carries came on this drive. Creasy again behind those pads and right into the chest of the Miami defenders, driving A.J. Highsmith back a couple of yards.
And you can say that this offensive line is weakened now with Zach Allen out of the game and an injury with Andrew Wallace, the starting right guard, that's out. But Tyson Chandler's done a nice job going from left to right. Mattis has done a nice job kicking out to the tackle. Wentz at center. Now Fordham at right guard. They're doing a nice job controlling the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 3, straight ahead again, Creasy, and again able to move it. Another tackle for A.J. Highsmith. First down, Wolfpack. Highsmith, the former quarterback, moved to the defensive side of the ball last year, and coaches say his biggest transition has been a physical one, getting away from a quarterback body to a safety's body.
Well, I know that A.J. Highsmith's made that transition, but he better be aware for play action pass right now, because offensive coordinator Dana Bible, I know that everybody's old school on that sideline, but they've been running it very effectively in between the tackles. Might be a nice time to tip it and throw it up top to your tight end.
5 straight runs. Creasy again with a move behind the line to dive inside the 10. Shayon Green with the tackle for Miami. Well, the running game doing a couple of things for NC State. It's moving the chain on this drive. It's also shortening the game, letting that clock run a little bit.
And giving a rest to that defense that's on the sidelines right now for the Wolfpack and Tom O'Brien. A much needed rest, because if Miami would have capitalized offensively, there would have been 14 more points on the football on this scoreboard for UM.
This time play action. Glennon over the middle. Caught by Palmer, and Palmer gets a first down, and it's taken away. Miami rips it away, and the Hurricanes have a chance to bring this one back. Brandon McGee finally brought down at the 27-yard line. Flag on the play. Horse collar tackle will tack on a few more. It's a 3rd takeaway for Miami, and McGee just ripped it away.
Tom, sometimes you can do too much as a running back or a wide receiver trying to make a big play. Tobias Palmer did a good job of catching the football, but you have to secure it here and just go to the ground. It'd be first and goal inside, but the ball gets exposed by Brandon McGee, and he takes it back. Just a good job of being relentless on the football. You can see Palmer tried to get 2 hands on the football, but in his effort to lunge his body into the end zone, he exposes the football to Brandon McGee, who gets the horse collar tacked on to that return, that fumble return.
Third turnover for NC State.
And you know what? You can't fault the effort by Palmer. He's trying to get into the end zone, but at a point, you need to almost feel like I can't do any more. I need to go down because you've got the first down with the reception.
37 points combined in this game, but 3 trips inside the 5 that have netted nothing. 1 for NC State, 2 for Miami. As Phillip Dorsett picks up positive yardage, a gain of 5 on first down.
Again, tempo and pace out of this UM offense.
Mike James straight ahead. Sterling Lucas with the stop.
Third down has been a problem coming into this football game. Trying to get off the football field has not been a problem for the Wolfpack. They're second in the ACC national, in the ACC 12th nationally. But in this football game today, they have to continue to find a way to stop Miami with the big play down the field.
Stephen Morris wants it deep all over the middle into coverage, incomplete. He was trying to find Asante Cleveland. 3 defenders for the pack surrounding Cleveland. 4th and 5. It goes back to that Miami feast or famine. When they have opportunities, sometimes they try to do too much too.
You know, it's almost that mode you survive and advance when you're winning a football game like Al Golden's team did last week. But when you have a chance to put a team away, like the Hurricanes did late in this first quarter and in this second quarter, you cannot let a talented team like NC State just continue to hang around, because they'll find a way to make plays.
Shard Smith with the punt return. 4:27 to go in the second quarter after a 33-yard punt. NC State back on offense. All right, thanks, Dari. Baylor and West Virginia put up some yards, maybe more points, but in a yardage contest, we might go head to head with those two.
I'll take our game right now. I was looking for the oxygen tank at the end of the first quarter.
They've got 652 combined yards in that game. Barnes back on the ground once again, takes it out to the 24-yard line. We've got 614 yards in our game. And NC State finding a lot more success on the ground, which is a bit of a surprise given the fact that they've had to shuffle so many guys not only up front but also in the backfield.
And it shows to the youth and inexperience maybe up front for Miami. They're finding something on the ground and they're staying with it.
Here's Barnes again, and he takes it straight ahead. The ball may have come out, and Miami says they have another takeaway.
That was a huge hit by Talamock coming from the secondary for the Hurricanes.
Miami with another takeaway.
Just a great play from the secondary. And this is a guy in Vaughn Talamock that's missed with injuries. The Kansas State game, or he got hurt in the Kansas State game, missed the Bethune-Cookman game and the Georgia Tech game. And this redshirt senior Brandon Barnes lays it on the ground, but that's just good execution. You get a helmet on helmet, you get the football popping out, and a nice recovery by the Canes in the secondary. Looked like Gunther had the fumble recovery for the Canes, and they're again in great scoring position inside the 30.
Can they take advantage on play action? Morris to the end zone. Tipped in, incomplete. Trying to find Rashawn Scott, who already had that 76-yard score.
Really like the aggressiveness in this Miami offense today. They've been going vertical down the field, letting their playmakers try to get into space and let the accuracy of Stephen Morris in the decision-making be the difference.
On the ground, Mike James to the 35-yard line. Brian Slay with the stop. Four turnovers today. Mike Glennon threw a career-high 4 interceptions in a Week 1 loss to Tennessee. That's it for NC State in the turnover category. Their 2 biggest games of the year. And they're having a hard time keeping possession. Eduardo Clements in at tailback. Morris has all day. And now pressure. That is incomplete. Trying to find Rashawn Scott.
And Miami's not been able to turn the turnovers into points today. That's been the biggest difference in this football game. Miami's been able to execute offensively, but when they've earned turnovers defensively, it seems like this offense hasn't been able to cash in and make this spread bigger on the scoreboard.
So Jake Wyclaw will attempt from 41 yards. And he hooks this one. Another opportunity missed. Wyclaw came in 7 of 8, second best in the ACC in field goal percentage. So neither team having a pretty game today, and some miscues for NC State have given Miami the edge.
And it really all started on a high exchange on a shotgun snap. Then you get a hand on the football. Thornton puts it on the ground. Glennon in the pocket. Nobody's blocking on the right side. A man comes free, and that causes the football to pop loose. And then on the inside, Tobias Palmer trying to get an effort play into the end zone, but it's stripped by Brandon McGee. Then another big-time hit by Telemaque produces another turnover for the Hurricanes, but it does not produce any points on the scoreboard. And let's credit this NC State defense for bowling their back multiple times.
Now Glennon wants a deep ball, and it was behind his receiver and incomplete to Palmer. It's been a wild day on offense for Miami today. Touchdown in each of their first 3 possessions, then the tip and the pick. Since then, a pair of punts and 2 missed field goals, 1 from point-blank range.
Well, you mentioned the scoring drive, the quick plays and the quick time of possession. In the first 3, they go touchdown, 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 and then they don't take advantage with the terrific field position, and they're only up 23-14 as a result.
After the incompletion, Glennon has a man open in the flat. That's incomplete. Logan Winkles, the fullback. You know, if you're a fullback for Tom O'Brien, you better take advantage when you get a chance to touch the football, because no fullback has ever carried it in the history of Tom O'Brien's coaching career. So if you get a chance to catch the ball, that's your opportunity.
You know what? Practice might be a different story, but game time, you don't get an opportunity. And this is a big-time opportunity to catch the football. You can tell maybe the fullbacks haven't handled it that much.
That's 16 years as a head coach.
That's a long time.
Fullback has never rushed the ball for Tom O'Brien. Somewhere, a fullback burned him. Sometime. Glennon hit as he throws, and he's able to dump it off, but no gain to Creasy. Good job by Fentress in the open field.
And also McCord. Remember, trying to get some of their faster freshmen on the football field to rush the passer. That time, Tariq McCord does a nice job of getting to the feet and legs of quarterback Mike Glennon for Al Golden's defense.
Will Bauman on to punt, sophomore from Wilmington, North Carolina, and Phillip Dorsett back to receive. Fair catch, and backtracking, he takes it at the 28-yard line. Celebrating its 8th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, All-State makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, All-State has contributed more than $2.8 million in scholarship monies. Stephen Morris back at it. 2:04 to go before the half. It was a barn burner of a first quarter, and that pass is off the hands of Allen Hurns. What has happened to both offenses outside of the first quarter and the first drive of the second?
I think we have to start giving a little bit of credit to the defenses as well, especially NC State. They've been put with a short field behind them, and they've been able to keep the Hurricanes off the scoreboard or stuck at 23 for most of this second quarter. So let's give some credit on the other side of the football.
Play action. Morris steps up. And he finds a sideline.
That time, offensive coordinator Jed Fish was trying to get a double move on the outside. He had Allen Hurns come down to the short side of the field, kind of stutter about the 12 to 14 yard, trying to get some bait, trying to get that double move to get those defensive backs for the Wolfpack looking in the backfield and pop a big play. But the defense was better that time on second down.
Al Golden said feast or famine for this program. He may have been alluding to the offense as well. It's either all or nothing today for Miami. And the Canes have the ball, and that is incomplete. And that is a quick 3 and out. Morris went tumbling, and that draws the flag. Art Norman is a third down pass rusher for NC State.
Personal foul. Defense, number 95. Unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And Tom, what award show was on a couple weeks? I thought I saw a red carpet somewhere on TV. The Emmys, maybe?
Yeah.
This might have been one. Now, there was a definite push afterwards, but I'm not so sure the push of Stephen Morris was going to get him to the ground. That was a good defensive play by Art Norman initially. Did he have to extend? No. But that's a pretty good job of acting by the quarterback.
Keeps Miami on offense, and a big play opportunity is thrown out of bounds looking for Dorsett. Not only does Miami obviously have chances here to extend this drive, but it keeps the ball out of NC State's hands to close the half.
Well, look at the way Stephen Morris started this football game. He was on fire, 271 yards and 3 touchdowns, only missing on 4 attempts, but since only 3 of 12.
Mike James to the 48-yard line. Third down coming up. Dante Johnson with the stop. 90 seconds left in this eventful first half. Morris incomplete. Good pressure that time on Scott. Dante Johnson came up and gave him a pop. The rhythm is a key word for Miami. They weren't really in rhythm against Georgia Tech. Just when it felt like Stephen Morris was doing things well, they would hit a roadblock.
Well, we talked about it, and you said it just last series, feast or famine. It seems like it's either been really good for UM offensively, or they start to sputter. You have a bad throw or a fumble or a drop pass, something that's holding them back. But I would give more credit to NC State defensively. I think they're doing a better job defensively.
Shard Smith with the fair catch. 1:05 to go in the first half after that 34-yard punt. College Football Daily is your destination for all the latest reports and comprehensive analysis. Our college football experts dissect all the storylines and breaking news each day. College Football Daily, weekdays at 1 on ESPNU. And throughout this week, they'll be breaking down the next game for each of these teams. NC State draws Florida State. Miami draws a Notre Dame team, which is off today at Soldier Field in Chicago. I don't know. I think it's really hard for teams to overlook conference opponents, but big opportunities await both of these programs.
Absolutely. You have Florida State on the horizon for both of these teams. NC State's get an opportunity first, but Notre Dame going to Chicago to get ND. That should be a heck of a football game.
Tony Creasy on first down carries it and steps out of bounds to stop the clock with 1 minute left. Brandon McGee ushered him out of bounds. NC State with 2 timeouts have an opportunity to take some shots downfield. We know Glennon has the arm to do so.
He sure does, and I would think that this next play is going to dictate what he does down the football field, because as you mentioned, NC State has 2 timeouts remaining, but more importantly, Miami has 3. So with a minute left on the clock, it's conceivable Miami could get a big play here on second down, stop the clock, and get the ball back with decent field position.
NC State will get the ball to start the second half. Creasy runs it straight ahead. Green with the stop. Clock rolls at 51. Neither side using a timeout.
You think both of these teams are out of breath as much as us just to get to the locker room?
IVs all the way around at the break.
Somebody cut the oranges and the IVs, get them ready. That's right.
I guess I was surprised that Miami didn't burn one there.
I was a little bit surprised, but you know what? The way they've been sputtering a little bit offensively, they may want to get in and reevaluate what they want to do, how they want to attack coming out for the third quarter.
They'll keep it on the ground again. That will stop the clock with a first down. Creasy with the carry. We haven't seen running back Shadrack Thornton since he fumbled the ball. The first quarter plus 4 seconds was insane. Over an hour of real time to finish those off and plenty of offense. And 519 total yards in the first quarter. Things have slowed down a little bit here in the second quarter. Glennon pressured, and he gets dropped from behind to bring it into the second quarter by Calvin Kane. Let's take you to the studio now on a busy day of college football here in Miami. It's a Hurricanes 23, Wolfpack 14.
It was the situation where NC State bowed their back and found a way to keep the Hurricanes off the scoreboard and really went down 23-14, coming back with an opportunity now in the third quarter.
Phillip Dorsett from the 2-yard line. Pardon me, for NC State from the 2-yard line, and out to the 26 goes Tobias Palmer. Able to stay on his feet and get extra yardage that time. Time to spin it forward.
Could be the key in the second half is to pound the football with Tony Creasy. Did a nice job in the first half getting close to 100 yards, and then the redshirt senior Brandon Barnes was able to contribute, but you have to hold on to the football. 4 first half turnovers is not going to get it done on the football field, on the scoreboard, and as an end result, return end up being a victory for NC State. Second half, pound it, but more importantly, hold on to the football.
Creasy and Barnes weren't the only 2 rushers. They also used the freshman Thornton, but he coughed it up. So here's Creasy to start the second half, and tripped up after a positive gain by Eddie Johnson. And a pickup of 9 on first down for Tony Creasy, the redshirt sophomore from Durham.
That's what you'd like to see out of Creasy. Now over 100 yards at 105. You'd like to see this team, although they've been decimated with injuries and shuffling on the offensive line, they've been able to win more battles than not at the point of attack. Make it easier for Mike Glennon. Pound the football right at Miami.
Shadrack Thornton back in the game. First time since he fumbled it. He'll get an opportunity straight ahead, and he runs straight into the line. And a host of Hurricanes, including Eddie Johnson and Tyrone Cornelius. Shadrack last week against the Citadel, 21 carries, 145 yards, a couple of touchdowns and 4 catches. So they'd like to get him involved.
He's still learning. You know, that's his first action of getting in and really starting a football game and going the distance. He's gotten better, you know, this week. He got more experience this week in camp after getting those yards underneath his belt, but really you have to rely on this second half's going to come up with Tony Creasy carrying the load.
On 3rd and 1, Creasy straight ahead, and he is cut short of the first down. No gain. And NC State will be in a 4th and short situation. It was Olsen Pierre who submarined the line to take down Creasy.
Tom O'Brien not happy at all, very disappointed in that offensive line, not being able to get a yard on 2nd or 3rd down. So Miami wins the battle at the point of attack and gets the punting unit out on the field for the Wolfpack.
Well, Bauman's been busy. They come after the punt, come up short. He went down. Flag on the play. It was 4th and short, and this will result in an NC State first down. So a new lease on life on their opening possession for the Pack.
Now Golden halfway out on the football field, not happy about this call.
Running into the kicker. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
I believe Al saying he may have been blocked into the kicker. Let's take another look and see if we can get a clear picture. No, that was a free guy on the outside. Looked like Green coming in from the lower left-hand screen. They got a free look at Bauman, the kicker. Mistakes plagued NC State in turnovers and in penalties defensively in the first half. That time they get bailed out by a UM penalty on special teams.
Tony Creasy back on the field, play action, and they incomplete. Try to swing it out to Watson, the tight end. Those brother Ben, NFL tight end, New England and Cleveland.
That was nice awareness as well by Mike Glennon. Corner blitz coming from the short side. They replace him with Watson, the tight end, so he makes the accurate throw, the good read, just doesn't get any help on the outside.
Glennon hands it off. Nowhere to go for Creasy, and a big hit coming up by Gianni Paul, who earned the start at middle linebacker today in front of Jimmy Gaines.
That's 2 plays in a row. Defensive coordinator Mark D'Offrino does a nice job of bringing pressure. He was able to bring the corner blitz to the short side. That time he brings the safety blitz from the field. And now on third down, NC State, who has continued to struggle on third down, needs to keep that offense out on the football field.
3rd and 9. Very few third and short situations for NC State today. Single back, they want to throw on 3rd and 9, complete, and a first down pass midfield by Quentin Payton.
Quentin Payton is the big play guy for NC State. Top of the screen, just a little quick slant, gets to the inside of Gunter, and does a nice job using his body. He made the defensive back fight through him, through his back, to get to the football. So one of those guys that's an impact player, already 83 yards, only on 2 catches.
So they convert a 3rd and 9. And they got help from Miami's special teams on the punting play to convert a 4th and 1. And this is Tony Creasy straight ahead by Cornelius with the stop.
Tom, this is exactly what North Carolina State would like to do offensively. If Tom O'Brien and Dana Bible, the offensive corner, could draw up a drive to start this half, it would be taking 4, 5, 6 minutes off the clock, go down and not settle for a field goal, punch it in for 7 points, just to let the Hurricanes know that we're not going to get punched in the mouth coming out in the 3rd quarter.
It's a young but maligned Miami defense, 109th in the nation in rushing defense, 98th in total defense. Pump and go, caught, NC State first down. Tobias Palmer with a fine move, and Glennon finds him in stride. Coverage by Dion Bush, who finally brought him down to pick up a 34.
Credit the offensive line, credit the patience of Mike Glennon, but a couple double or triple moves on the outside by Tobias Palmer. He wanted to do that sluggo route, that little slant and go, but he never could get quite on track. So Mike Glennon again stops him with the throw behind to the short side of the field, ends up coming for a 33-yard gain, a big play to get inside the red zone.
Glennon 10 of 18 today, 211 yards. NC State has turned it over 4 times, and now the Pack uses a timeout. It was Shadrack Thornton, a running back, who asked for it. NC State driving, trailing by 9. Gorgeous Saturday afternoon in South Florida with Miami on top of NC State 23-14. Tom Hartwood, John Kajemi. And here at Sun Life Stadium, NC State is bleeding the clock and turning to its ground game to try to climb back in this one.
Penalty kept this play alive on special teams for Miami, but Mike Glennon to Palmer down the right side is the spark plug in this drive. It's taken up close to 5 minutes off the clock.
Thornton, the freshman running back, play action to him. Glennon fires, complete. And to the 6-yard line goes Tobias Palmer.
Good job by Palmer protecting the football. If you remember, Tom, in that first half, he was going inside the 5, trying to extend to get over the pylon to get into the end zone, and Brandon McGee stripped the football away from him. So that was a nice job of knowing your limitations. Wasn't much run after catch on that play inside the 10. He protects the football, and as we talked about, a 9-play, 68-yard drive, over 5 minutes now for the Wolfpack.
NC State came into this game, great time of possession team, leading the ACC. Thornton dances at the 5, leans forward, and will get down inside the 2. Anthony Chickalo, the sophomore from Tampa, with the tackle. It's an NC State first down. Will set up a 1st and goal.
Good inside the tackle running by Thornton, the freshman. He had a big afternoon last week, 145 yards, career high in his first start. He'd love to get the rest of this inside the 5-yard line.
Glennon will give it to him, and a whistle and a flag. This will back NC State up.
Full start. Offense number 50. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Cameron Fordham replaced an injured Zach Allen in the 2nd quarter. He's at right guard for North Carolina State. Andrew Wallace, their right tackle, is out today with a foot injury.
Not the worst thing in the world when you get a penalty inside the 5. It gives you a little bit more room offensively, but you hate to go backwards when you're in the red zone. You always want to keep that momentum going forward.
And a split Thornton out to the top of the formation. Glennon looking that direction. Tipped. Nearly picked. It was Brandon McGee who made a break on that ball intended for Quentin Payton.
Risky throw only because the route wasn't exactly where Mike Glennon wanted it to be. When you're going to run a corner to the wide side of the field, you need to have that aiming point a little bit higher so there's separation between the short receiver and the deep receiver. That time, too many people in tight quarters. That could have been an interception going the other way quickly.
He needs to get deeper.
Higher in that back pylon.
And here's Thornton, the freshman, trying to get it to the outside, inside the 5, and takes a hit there. And that will set up 3rd and goal. Eddie Johnson with the stop.
Well, in that first half, we saw the NC State defense bow their backs and keep Miami out of the end zone. Now it's time for the Hurricanes defensively, and their leader in the front, that front 7, they've got young guys up front. They've got to be able to get to the football and keep NC State out of the end zone.
Glennon will roll the pocket, fires a dart to the goal line, and that is in. Touchdown, NC State. Underwood, his 5th straight game with a touchdown catch to tie a North Carolina State record set by Corin Robinson in 2000.
A nice strike by Mike Glennon on the run. Just a little bit of a rub play. Outside receivers coming in, motion man coming across behind the formation, gets to that front pylon. Glennon leads the charge. It took over 5 minutes easily on that drive. That's exactly what NC State needed in their opening drive.
Nicholas Sadie with the extra point. And the difference in this game is a high snap safety for NC State. So I believe they call that the Rick Stockstill effect. Nice run for middle. Here, Miami is blowing out NC State, but they've forgotten to score. And the Pack has answered with a consuming drive to pull within 2.
They really answered the bell, Tom, coming out after halftime. They knew they were going to get the football. They had to keep something going. They get a special teams penalty against them to keep the drive alive, and then they cash in for 7 points.
Another touchback for the NC State kicking game. Let's take a look back with our Scion drive recap.
Miami was on their way to 3 and out until the special teams unit tried to pressure the punter. Shayon Green actually gets flagged for the penalty there, and then a big play. Glennon on the outside to Palmer, and then the strike on the run. This is beautiful. Just gets into the front pylon. Brian Underwood, his 5th touchdown of the young season, but Glennon did a nice job of throwing on the run. We talked about the key, maybe moving the feet in the pocket. That time, he comes outside of the pocket and does a nice job being accurate with the football.
Freshman Duke Johnson is back at tailback. 2 weeks ago, he had a 4-touchdown game. They try to get him to the edge. He's got great blocking, and Johnson not afraid to lower his shoulder as he gets bounced out of bounds by Earl Wolf, who's back in the game after getting banged up earlier today.
No one sets the edge defensively for the Wolfpack, and Miami does a nice job of getting blockers out in front of the young freshman running back, who takes a good shot but springs right up after the hit.
Entire NC State line jumped. Another free play, so another deep ball. Morris was off target looking for Rashawn Scott. Where's the flag? And the Miami sideline is asking the same thing. Looked like 4 white shirts.
Well, it looked like yeah, the entire defensive front was in the neutral zone. So McDermott, the center, snapped the football, but no flag.
Is Morris giving them hard counts, or are they just being anxious?
I think a little bit of both. You see Miami rush to the line of scrimmage. They act like they're going to run a play, but they always look to the sidelines.
2nd and 10, play action. Morris, deep drop. He's chased, and he'll get thrown down for a big loss. Daryl Cato Bishop found his way into the backfield. Morris had nowhere to go. Noel started it. Bishop cleaned it up. It's a loss of 16.
This defense gets the sack. They've been nationally ranked with tackles for loss, but this time they get sacks. On the right side of your screen, you're going to see the end come in from the other side. I'm sorry here. Cato does a nice job of getting to the quarterback.
And now the screenplay. Miami's so dangerous to James, and he takes it out to the 32, and that will leave 4th and forever. Brandon Bishop with the stop. What a stop by NC State. First, the incompletion when Miami didn't get the flag they anticipated. Then the sack. And now they're able to stop the screen game. And NC State, after eating clock with a long drive on the ground, will get it back. Dalton botched to punt it away.
Well, you know what happens, Tom? You don't have any rhythm in that second quarter. It seems like it's carrying over to the third quarter.
Here's Rashard Smith. Fair catch, 31. Find the pressure. Stephen Morris did, but it was too late. He's dropped. Canes lead NC State 23-21. 6:34 to go in the third quarter. Inconsistent offense for Miami, and that was the story of the game last week against Georgia Tech as well. After a red-hot first quarter, quiet.
It's been incredible. Miami's been able to do what they wanted to do with the football in the first quarter, but since the NC State defense has had answers, so it's been a lot of penalties and a lot of mistakes that have got these two teams so close right now.
Glennon lets it go. That is hauled down. Great hands and a physical catch by Tobias Palmer. Went up and ripped it down. That was like a rebound.
Yeah, absolutely. Climbs the ladder down that left hash. That was a good job of attacking the football. All young receivers, that was a special moment right there to go up and attack the football and take it away from the defense. That's yours. Mike Glennon gives a nice ball down the side, and again at the 50-yard line, the Wolfpack offense on the move.
Glennon sets up and dumps it off to his running back. There's a flag on the play. Likely bring it back. You know, the inconsistency from Miami offensively likely affects their defense. Last week against Georgia Tech in the second and third quarters, they're outscored 36-3. So far today in the second and third quarters, they've been outscored 14-0. So how can an inconsistent offense have an effect?
Holding. Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. First down.
On the other side of the ball.
Too many short fields because you're kicking the football, and too much time out on the football field. Anytime you're inconsistent offensively, that means that defensive side of the football for Al Golden is going to be out on the field too much. Right now, Miami had a great identity. They got a couple of really cheap plays in the first half because NC State didn't play after the whistle blew, after the flags were down. they got some big plays. Now the offense is relying on the defense to make those big plays.
Here comes the blitz. Creasy couldn't get past it. Anthony Chickalo with the stop. He's a third-generation Hurricane. His grandpa and dad both played here, and Chickalo's coming off of a huge game against Georgia Tech, where he chipped in with 7 tackles.
And Tom, he's a different type of player this year, only because he added weight. I think this defense asked him to do too much. He was only at about 238 last year. Now he's bulked up to 258, closer to 260, and he's able to take the amount of plays to play the defensive end spot and the three technique down inside.
Miami wants to work more speed on their defensive line and get a pass rush with 4 off the hands of Creasy. That will leave 3rd and 18 for North Carolina State.
And that will help your defense. If you can't convert when you're in 2nd and long to get in a manageable situation, you know, those are the plays that make you scratch your head as a head coach. And I know Tom O'Brien was just trying to get back into a 3rd and 10 situation. Miami now brings in a lot of different people to try to attack the line of scrimmage defensively.
That includes Calvin Kane, speed edge guy, and they'll go with 3 down linemen. Kane in coverage. Glennon lets it go. That direction catch made, and Calvin Kane, the defensive end, makes a stop to leave 4th and 10 on Tony Creasy. A little zone blitz there.
Yeah, it looked like it. Both teams kind of agreeing, we'll give you the underneath stuff. And they were going to take it with NC State so they can win the field position battle right now, because the Hurricanes have not threatened NC State defensively with those big plays like they attacked in the first quarter. So they're going to make Miami go 80, 85, 90 yards on a drive to score points.
Well, they might do it quickly. This is Phillip Dorsett, fair catch. And Miami will start at the 10. So some inconsistency for this Miami offense, but they've shown some explosiveness as well. They can get big plays and big chunk yardage.
I think you almost have to go back and take a look what you've done successfully. You see the way the hot hand Morris had to start this game, 12 of 16 for over 250, but since only 4 of 15. So you almost want to run on the throwing downs and throw maybe on the running downs to ignite this offense, make those easy pitch and catches on the outside, but hammer it home with the running game.
Morris trying to set up the screen. This is Duke Johnson. And Johnson will get wrestled down, but as a pile moves, look at that, legs churning. That turns it into a first down. At USC, they call it the Bush push, and this number 8 got help from a lot of his friends. Even ran right out of his shoe.
We talked about the screen game for Miami. This time on first down, kind of not a screen down or not a throwing down. They come out and do that and move the chains with the help of the offensive lineman.
Quick snap again. This is James, and he gets popped. But another positive play from the ground game, a pickup of 5.
And Tom, what I've noticed out of Miami, when they have successful plays, they've been able to keep the pace up in their offense. You can see the tempo speeding up now.
Contact made, whistle will stop the play. In the first half, Miami had 107 yards outside of their big plays.
Offside, defense, number 95, entering the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
That's Art Norman. But Stephen Morris on big plays went 4 for 4 for 192 yards. The rest of his attempts, 12 of 27 for 107.
When this is a formation where you'd see play action, you'd see it to the field, and you're going to try to take a shot down there. There's only one wide receiver out there, and that's Hearns to the wide side.
Higgins is the fullback. And Sterling Lucas with the stop after a gain of 2 by Mike James. Mike James had the game-winning touchdown in overtime against Georgia Tech. 3 touchdowns on the day on the ground for a guy who last year suffered through a turf toe injury. He only had 275 yards all of last year. came into this game with 247. The blitz, they throw right into it, and it's dropped. Incomplete. Hagens, the fullback. As a quarterback, when you see two guys right in front of you, is it still okay to throw in that direction?
As long as you're confident you can get the football and locate it, because anytime you're going from the short side to the wide side of the field when you're throwing to a fullback or a tight end, you have to have confidence that he's not going to catch it twice, meaning tip the football, make a clean catch on the outside.
Third down back, Eduardo Clements into the game. Morris deep ball over the middle, caught! First down Miami, and Dorsett. Another huge play down the middle for Stephen Morris, and this one goes for 40.
Phillip Dorsett just does a nice job. He's going to come down the middle of the football field and hit that seam route. This is just a beautiful throw by Stephen Morris behind the NC State coverage, and a good play by Dorsett catching the football.
Fourth completion of 40 yards or more for Stephen Morris, and now to the screen game, and this is Duke Johnson, and Duke takes it to the 15. Earl Wolf with the stop, another Kane first down.
So we've had two screens on this drive, and we talked about it early in the game because they're easy throws, and either James or Johnson can take the football down. The big numbers by Morris, big plays down the field, but it's all going to come back to the running game a little bit inside the 20-yard line.
Quick hitter outside, trying to get a block. Scott caught by Bishop. Big plays for Scott today. Two of his catches covered 128 yards.
Well, Miami has to convert a touchdown here. The last couple times they've been in the red zone, they've come up empty. They've taken this ball from the 10-yard line. They need to punch it in for 6.
Quarterback keeper on 2nd and 3. T.Y. McGill the stop. Don't see that very often.
That may have been a call from the line of scrimmage just by Morris, thinking he could get the 2 or 3 yards, so you go up and tap the center. But NC State, again, very aware at the line of scrimmage. So now another big third down situation for Jedd Fisch in this offense.
Morris will roll. Has time. Lets it go. Incomplete. O'Shawn Scott was the intended receiver. Earl Wolf with the coverage for NC State.
And credit the pressure by Pittman. I think he got a hand on the arm of Morris when he was ready to throw that football. That was great pursuit by Brandon Pittman, the backup linebacker, one of those young players for the Wolfpack that was pursuing Stephen Morris.
NC State has been fantastic on third down this season. They've held opponents now to 7 for the last 44. And a flag on the play. The kick was blocked by Emerson.
This is going to cost NC State a first down, and Miami's going to get another opportunity.
Unabated to the kicker, defense number 1. A penny will result in a first down.
That's David Emerson.
There's no excuse for this. There's no excuse not to play when the whistle's blown on defense, and especially when you're in a field goal opportunity, and Tom O'Brien knows it.
$85 yards of penalties today for NC State. This sets up Miami. First and goal from the 4. Johnson and James both in the game. And the pitch, trying to get to the edge. Duke Johnson is in. Touchdown Miami. And another one for the freshman.
A costly mistake on special teams by Emerson allows one more offensive play. Duke Johnson waltzes into the end zone. And a terrific block on the perimeter by Allen Hearns.
Back to a 9-point lead for Miami with 54 seconds in the third quarter. Let's take you back to our studio and check in with Dari Noka. All right, thanks, Dari. 486 yards for Geno Smith. Look at this. Tom O'Brien saw that play coming, was trying to wave his defense over for the pitch.
Yeah, no perimeter help on the outside, but the block that's able to spring Johnson into the end zone by Allen Hurns in the slot was just too much. Not enough defense on the perimeter to set that edge on that little option play. And that allows this offense and Al Golden to take a breath. 10 plays, 90 yards. That was a huge drive and a great answer by Miami's offense.
Kept alive by a special teams miscue. Tobias Palmer chases this one down and fumbles it out of bounds, and the miscues continue for NC State. But here's the good news for NC State. A couple of huge mistakes, but Miami has been so inconsistent quarter to quarter that there's no reason to believe that you can't go off in the fourth.
This is still a ball game. It's only a 9-point lead, and the way that Miami offense has been hot and cold, you never know what can happen, because it seems like Palmer and Payton and Underwood, the playmakers on the outside for NC State, as long as they can give a clean pocket to Mike Glennon to throw the football, they still have opportunities to move it down the field, throwing it against this UM defense.
Shadrack Thornton, the freshman running back, is behind Mike Glennon. Thornton brings it out, stacked up at the 5. Earl Moore, first man there, freshman from Tampa. This Miami team is, especially defensively, littered with young talent from the Tampa area. Moore is one of those. He plays next to Chicolo.
Yeah, I think the number Coach Golden gave us yesterday was 375, and the number of scholarships even out of South Florida. And he said, we only need 20, but we have to get the right 20. And that includes going to the Tampa Bay area to really pluck that area of their athletes.
2nd and 7. Again, Thornton straight ahead. First down, NC State. Rogers with the stop, and that will bring it into the third quarter. Shadrack Thornton, the freshman from Hinesville, Georgia, is trying to carry NC State here in the third quarter drive, which will stretch to the fourth. It's a 9-point game with Miami in the lead in this ACC contest. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Fourth quarter from Miami. 9-point game. NC State scored the first, and then Miami ripped off 23 unanswered. And outside of that first quarter, the Miami offense has been stalled for the most part.
Turnovers and mistakes on both sides have kept this game relatively close, a 9-point game. But for all the offense Miami has and all the opportunities, it should be a little bit more favoring UM.
Tom Harwood, John Kingemi, Mike Glennon at the helm for NC State. He finds his big rumbling tight end for a first down. That's Anthony Talbert. First catch of the year for Talbert, the junior out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Good protection in the pocket for Mike Glennon. He's able to scan and find his big tight end. He's 6'4", 254 out of Cincinnati. Just a nice job of scanning the secondary, checking it down, and a really nice play by his tight end Talbot, going underneath and almost getting a pick on the crossing route.
Brandon McGee is the injured Miami defender. As a quarterback, do you notice when one of the opponent's best defensive backs leaves the field?
You sure do. When it's the caliber of McGee, you absolutely know. And you're trying to anytime you can get a mismatch or a guy you feel like you can get in space, you want to take advantage.
Tracy Howard, a freshman, replaces him. They keep it on the ground. Thornton takes it straight, and he gets inside past the 40. Eddie Johnson, along with Von Telemack, bring him down.
Really been impressed, Tom, today with the running backs on both of these football teams. It seems like they know how to put their foot in the ground and go north and south to get 8 or 10 or 6 yards. But when they get into that secondary or to that second level, they have a knack for making big plays. So these running backs on both sides of the football have done an excellent job.
3 NC State backs have combined for 173 yards this afternoon. Shadrack again, and a Wolfpack first down into Miami territory. Johnson trips him up.
I know this offensive line is beat up a little bit, and they've had people moving in at all different positions, but on consecutive plays, they've been able to wall off the Miami front 7 and give Thornton a clear running lane down the middle of the football field. A lot of total yards in the football game today, and getting him in different ways on both sides.
Glennon looking, pressured, lets it go. Hedges falling out of bounds, nearly had it. It's a long incompletion. Anthony Chickolo brought the pressure. Let's check in with the studio once again.
All right, guys, thank you much. A reminder, Cincinnati, yes, they're the home team. That's what happens when you get $3.5 million to move your game to D.C., where they will play Virginia Tech. Munchie and company coming up at the bottom of the hour. Kickoff about 3:37 Eastern Time.
All right, thanks, Dari. 2nd and 10 now for NC State.
Miami's been bringing pressure in this situation. Let's see what happens on 2nd and 10.
They pick up the pressure. Glennon on the run, incomplete. Trying to find Hedges once again. And that leaves 3rd and 10. Quentin Payton, by the way, the talented NC State receiver, has not been on the field for the last few plays. Neither has Tobias Palmer.
They need to find a way to get somebody to make a play, because those two playmakers on the outside, Payton and Palmer, have really shared the load in the passing game. So now Mike Glennon's going to have to look to somebody else to make a play.
They split the running back Thornton out to the top of the formation. Out of the shotgun, extra man coming. Glennon over the middle, batted away. Great play in the secondary. But before it, they blew it dead, and Miami used a timeout.
And I think Miami saw a complete empty formation that they didn't like defensively. So Al Golden uses one of those timeouts, and I think it was a wise timeout. Although you get the stop, half the players in white kind of didn't even run a route to the bottom side of the screen.
I don't know what the discussion could be here.
Possibly time on the clock, and the only thing I can think of.
Timeout was called by Miami prior to the snap. Please reset the game clock for 13 minutes and 11 seconds. It remains 3rd down.
So another crack at 3rd and 10 for Mike Glennon and North Carolina State. Do you come out with the same formation?
I don't know. It looks like it, because you have to spread Miami out now. If you don't have Quentin Payton or Tobias Palmer in the game for the Wolfpack, you have to do it with illusion and mirrors. So you spread everybody out, knowing you're looking for that one mismatch somewhere in the slot or on the outside.
Busy day for Mike Glennon. He's been chased, he's been pressured. He and his offense have made some mistakes.
But he's made some big plays as well. The throw behind both times to Tobias Palmer, doing a good job of being on target in the red zone. done a nice job of moving his feet around in the pocket, buying some time, but out of the pocket, he gets that one touchdown, that one completion inside the red zone. He's going to make more of his plays because of his stature at 6'6", but he's able to move within the pocket to buy himself some time and make big plays.
Pressure coming. Glennon steps up, finds his fullback. Stops short of the first down is Logan Winkles. Fentress with the stop for Miami.
And NC State may be in 4-down territory right now. They may keep that offense on the football field and try to ask their quarterback and this offensive line to see if they can get it done in 4th and short.
And why not? Because we know the Miami offense is feast or famine.
That's right.
They can score from 60, or they can score from 90. It may only take a couple plays, or they'll get it right back to you. So 4th and 2 for North Carolina State to keep the drive alive. And on the ground, Thornton got it. First down Pack. Corey King with the stop for Miami. This has been a tremendous bounce back second half for the freshman Shadrack Thornton, who burst onto the scene last week and then coughed it up in the second quarter, didn't get any carries.
Looks like Eddie Johnson down for the Miami defense. Working that right leg. He's one of those playmakers on this defense. He's going to scrape across and actually tries to come in and fill the lane. It looked like his own player, maybe Darius Smith, gets in on that leg trying to make a tackle.
So as they help him off the field, we'll step away for a break. NC State driving down by 9. ESPNU College Football is presented by Polaris. See the most complete lineup of off-road vehicles at Polaris.com. 30-21. Miami leads NC State. And the injured linebacker Eddie Johnson getting some attention from the athletic training staff on the Miami sideline. Johnson, a redshirt freshman, has picked up playing time for a very young Miami defense. Now NC State back to work on first down, and Tony Creasy back in the game. Olsen Pierre stops him.
And Tom, both of these big drives in the second half by NC State have the same type of ammo, same identity. They've been mauling up front. They've been taking major time off the clock. And hopefully for the Wolfpack's sake, they're going to end up with 6 points, because that's what they want to do. Keep the Miami defense out there, keep their defense on the field, and win the battle at the line of scrimmage.
On second down, Creasy again. And he gets inside the 30 to set up a 3rd and short for North Carolina State. How much does this running game help Mike Glennon, the passer?
Helps him a lot, because he doesn't have to do a whole lot, but either to, make run checks at the line of scrimmage, still manage the game that way, but it helps him a lot, especially if you haven't had a consistent diet of Payton and Palmer in the game in this second half. It allows other guys, it allows you to rely on your running backs like Tony Creasy instead of guys you haven't thrown to all game.
Payton and Palmer back in the game together. So is Underwood. So the starters back out there at wide receiver. Creasy trying to get the 2, and he got stopped by Anthony Chickalo. So they've converted one 4th down. Can they do it again?
And the Canes do a nice job of really run blitzing on 3rd and short. They had everybody. It was dead man coverage. No one in the middle of the field. Everyone committed to the run. And now NC State, I wouldn't be surprised if they came up and maybe tried to get the quarterback, Mike Glennon, under center to try to get a cheap first down here with a snap counter, or go up on a quick count and try to catch Miami off guard.
4th and 1. Thornton is the lone tailback. Play action. Glennon scrambles. Deep man. Got him. Touchdown, NC State. Brian Underwood was all alone, and Glennon found him. Second touchdown catch of the game for Brian Underwood.
Tom, keeping plays alive. We talked about that was the key today for Mike Glennon. If he could keep plays alive, he can make all the throws with his arm. And that time on fourth and very short, he was able to get one of his wide receivers, Brian Underwood. All he does is catch touchdowns. And Mike Glennon found him.
A 13-play drive that covered 97 yards. And the extra point is doinked off of the upright. It remains a 3-point game. Well, NC State's offense got him there with a 97-yard drive, and then it's number 80 again. Underwood always up to no good, his second scoring catch of the day. Three-point game, 10:23 to go in the fourth quarter between a pair of 3-1 teams. Mike Glennon has led North Carolina State back. He did it with fantastic pocket presence to find Brian Underwood for the second time today. This one from 28 yards, capping a 97-yard drive, which ate up 5.5 minutes.
Just back and forth. The Miami Hurricanes had such a hot first quarter after NC State opened the scoring, but you cannot count out the Wolfpack today. They've been led by defense and big plays to really get back in this football game.
Don't forget Dorsett and Johnson, two great return men. They haven't had a chance on the kickoff today. And they'll take this one out. Hesitation for Dorsett. Now he comes, and Dorsett tripped up, takes it out to the 23-yard line. Let's take a look at some great teamwork brought to you by Russell Athletic.
Well, Mike Glennon did a nice job. Now you're going to watch the clear out. This is going to be flooding the zone up top. You're going to have that route there, but then you're going to have two underneath routes there. But watch the safety. Von Telemark right here. He flattens out with the deepest receiver. He needs to be back here somewhere because no one's over the top. He's got his eyes on the underneath coverage, and that allows Mike Glennon to keep the play alive. That's just a great job by Glennon of extending the play.
A missed extra point keeps it a 3-point game. And Duke Johnson, the freshman, with a heavy workload again today, brought down by Ricky Dowdy. 5 minutes into the fourth quarter. This young Miami team has seen peaks and valleys through its last two games. Last time out, an overtime win against Georgia Tech. They've come back from big deficits twice this season. Stephen Morris has to roll. And stepping out of bounds, fires incomplete. So now 3rd and 10. They strive for balance on first and second down. And it seems, just watching this game, like they've been out of balance, but it's something that Jed Fish keeps up with throughout the first 3 quarters.
And now it's out of the ball. It doesn't matter. If they need to throw it, they're going to throw it more. If they need to run it and control the clock, they're going to do that in the fourth quarter. But on second down, they tried to get that inside screen again, but NC State very aware.
So on 3rd and 10, Stephen Morris looks downfield, lets one go deep. He has a guy, and that's caught for a Miami first down. And Phillip Dorsett with another huge play for the Canes. This one covers 46. It's his 3rd catch of 40 yards or more today.
He had one last week of 65 yards today. He's been a deep threat nightmare for NC State. They just let the underneath coverage, the deep coverage, Brandon Bishop doesn't get deep as the deepest. You have to stay over the top when you play Miami because Stephen Morris, number 1, can throw it out of the gym. He can throw it 60, 70 yards, but they have athletes on the outside that can get behind you. They have world-class speed on the outside, and Dorsett has it. Dorsett does a great job in the slot up top. He's just going to go outside and threaten the corner and then straighten it back out. That gets behind the safety, Brandon Bishop. Plenty of time in the pocket. He threatens outside and then gets behind Bishop, the field side safety.
Two NC State players were injured, Forrest West and Arden Norman. Back to Miami right after this with the Canes threatening to. Dari, that's how Big 12 offenses roll. ESPNU College Football presented by Polaris. A little option for Miami. And that has nothing going right. Duke Johnson corralled for a loss of a couple. This Miami offense, just like Al Golden said, overall the program has been over the years, has been feast or famine. They have had 6 big plays today that have covered 278 yards. Their other 58 plays have covered fewer than 200.
It's amazing the way this offense has been able to go downfield and then be able to come back and go backwards on first down when you really need to keep the momentum.
Quarterback draw. Here goes Morris straight ahead, and he bull rushes his way down to the 15 before Earl Wolf bites on him, and that will set up a 1st and 10 from the 15 for Miami.
And that's a new wrinkle we haven't seen. Spread you out formation-wise and then use your quarterback running down the field. The only advice I'd give Steven is to slide once you get downfield because you don't want to take that punishment at the end of the run.
James. A punishing run behind that Miami offensive line. And a couple of yards on first down.
This is the part of the game where Al Golden was talking about his toughness and what he needed out of his team. He needed to have, to play at a winning level, not just play. So you have to be in condition. You have to have the mental toughness right now, and you have to have the unity to get the football in the end zone.
To throw. Caught! Touchdown Miami! Threading a needle for another Cane score. Morris to Scott. Second touchdown catch of the day for Rashawn Scott.
That's unbelievable. That's one of those throws you say, no, 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 yes. Touchdown, Rashawn Scott. It looks like it slid right off of number 30's helmet. Gets right off the face mask of Brandon Bishop, who all he needed to do was make a play on the football, at least knock it down. And there's no scoring drive of 7 plays, 76 yards.
That was going to be 6 one direction or another.
Yes. Bishop gets beat over the top first, Tom, and then his face mask helps the Miami scoring drive get into the end zone. It's all Canes.
You know what's surprising about that? Al Golden told us that Georgia Tech was a really good team. He said they're much better than they played. The overtime loss in week 1 in Blacksburg, and then overtime loss to Miami last week in a back and forth.
It's amazing what teams can do, after an emotional loss at home, to have the Blue Raiders come in and put one on you. You talk about that adjustment from week to week in college football. You never really know, other than a handful of teams, who's going to win or lose.
Here's Tobias Palmer from a yard deep. Palmer has room to the near side. Makes a man miss. And gets stoned at the 21. Mistakes have abounded for NC State today.
Boy, it really started on the shotgun snap where Glennon had to take a safety and then a big hit on the football when Thornton was running it. You don't block up front. You jar the football loose from the secondary. Turnovers happen. Mistakes, penalties, just mental errors will end up beating you in the long run when you don't make plays on the football. NC State has had a plethora of turnovers and missed opportunities and penalties that have led to a 10-point deficit with 7:52 left to go in this game. But probably the biggest one, Tom, was in their own red zone.
David Amerson jumped off sides. It led to a touchdown. And a swing pass to the freshman. Thornton takes it out to the 36-yard line. It gets wrestled all the way to the Miami bench. Well, Shadrack Thornton was a mystery going into the game against the Citadel last week, and he was still a bit of a mystery this week in practice. Coaches said, yes, it was a good game, but we're still not really sure exactly what we have. And so today has Kind of been his second coming out party, if you will.
Other than dropping the football on the ground, you like the way the freshman runs the football. He really runs behind his pads. He's a tough runner in between the tackles.
Mike Glennon going back to work. Over the middle, incomplete. Looking for Talbert, the tight end. 2nd and 10 now. Glennon has thrown for 317 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Almost feels like a draining game for NC State offensively, because they're trying to beat 2 teams. They're trying to beat the Hurricanes in themselves with all the miscues.
1,000 yards of offense between these 2 teams. Glennon steps up, wobbles one downfield, caught! Inside the 5 goes Rashard Smith. Wow, NC State is on the doorstep again. 61 yards.
Unbelievable how resilient Mike Glennon in this offense is. Great protection by the offensive line, and he gets behind Brandon McGee. Does Rashard Smith. Another big play, 61 yards down the field, and Glennon has the Wolfpack again inside the red zone at the 4-yard line.
That wasn't even a perfect pass from Glennon. Glennon wants to snap in a hurry. Shadrack Thornton, the freshman, turns around and fights his way to the 1-yard line. Shayon Green with the stop. 7 minutes to go, and this one is an eternity.
It really is, Tom. Just when you think a defense has a handle on an offense, the quarterback comes back and rears back and fires a deep football for a huge play.
Thornton stopped short of the goal line. Gianni Paul with the tackle for Miami. So they'll call this 3rd and goal. NC State inside the 1-yard line.
Can this offensive line that has been moved around all afternoon, can they move the front 7 of Miami?
Thornton leaps. Flag on the play. They whistled it before it started. Miami came out with a football, but it's a dead play. The tight end, Mario Carter, jumped.
False start. Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Eddie Johnson saw pay dirt.
And I'm surprised Tony Creasy isn't in the football game right now. You want to be able to protect the football inside the 5-yard line.
Well, another State mistake. This one backs him up from the 1 to the 6. Tony Creasy is now in the game for the Wolfpack.
Last time in this situation, Mike Glennon was on the move. He was on the run, moving the pocket, but he'll have to hurry with under 5 on the play clock.
Glennon to the end zone. Touchdown, NC State. Rashard Smith with another big grab, and once again the pocket presence from Glennon keeps the play alive just long enough.
Tom, Mike Glennon moves just enough to keep the defense in and then out of coverage. He had enough time in the pocket, and then he moves subtly that draws a defender towards him, that gives a crease in that secondary for Rashard Smith to find a window, and it's a 6-play drive for a touchdown.
Extra point is good this time. It's a 3-point game, 5:43 to go.
Nice movement in the pocket, looking right the entire way, but that offensive line does a great job of sealing everybody to one side, and Glennon feels that, so he moves to the open area. That draws just a little bit of underneath coverage away from a crease, and Smith's able to find a wide open pocket deep in that end zone.
A thriller here with 5:43 to go. And Glennon will towel off and see if NC State can get a stop defensively. Both teams came into this game at 3-1. Miami has started its ACC season undefeated at 2-0 and trying to stay atop the Coastal Division. Georgia Tech has 2 losses already. So it's the first ACC game of the year for NC State, and they have to start on the road. It'll be tough for anyone in the Atlantic to catch up with the 4th-ranked Seminoles. But a win here today for NC State would be a great start.
And they have the Seminoles next up on their schedule, and Miami has them in a couple of weeks. So for head coach Tom O'Brien and the Wolfpack, getting back in this football game, only a 3-point game with 5:43 left to go. Remember, they gave up a safety. They missed an extra point. The difference right now.
Sadie puts it in the air. Duke Johnson won't bring it back. Nicholas Sadie has been a difference maker today for NC State. Let's take you back to the studio and check in with Dari once again.
All right, Tom, reminding people, Cincinnati, Virginia Tech coming your way. Now, this kickoff set for 3:37. It'll come on whenever the Miami game is over. If the game starts before the Miami game is over, and that's likely, go to ESPN News for the start at 3:35. Baylor, West Virginia, still close. Nick Florence has thrown for 517 yards. Geno Smith for 592, 63, 56, 8.5 to go, guys.
Had a chance to go to Baylor practice in August, and they looked like they didn't skip a beat, and that says something when you lose a Heisman.
It really does. Does anybody play defense in the Big 12?
How about in this game? Another deep ball and incomplete. You know, the lack of defense for both sides today has come on deep passes. Aside from that, it's been pretty good play.
Absolute chunk plays and big plays down the field. And you have to credit, you know, really it starts with the offensive line. Both of these quarterbacks, when they've gone downfield, they've had plenty of time to sit back and really throw the football downfield and be accurate with the football.
1,087 yards combined for NC State and Miami. Stephen Morris having another career day here. And Duke Johnson straight ahead. Brian Slay with the stop. Now, you know, it's quickly. When you try to take so many of those chunk plays, you get behind schedule pretty quick. This is 3rd and 6.
You're very right. And another mistake up front.
Flag on the play.
Free play.
Over the middle. Caught. Another chunk play here. Inside the 40 goes Devon Johnson. Johnson has 4.33 speed. And he sat in the zone before he turned on the burners. 41-yard gain.
Another mistake up front defensively.
Offside, defense, 98. The penalties decline. First down.
That leads to a free play for Miami because it seems like everybody stops and then they have to start and play again, especially up front. There's no pressure for Stephen Morris. It allows him to move the pocket and find a wide open receiver down the field.
Back to the run game for Miami. A hurdle by Duke Johnson. Wolf with the stop. College Football Daily is your destination for all the latest reports and comprehensive analysis. Our college football experts dissect all the storylines of breaking news each day. College Football Daily, weekdays at 1 on ESPNU. I assume this game will be over by then. Incomplete pass, trying to swing it out and find Phillip Dorsett. 3rd and 7.
Normally you would think if you're NC State, you have to guard against the short side screen to Mike James right now. That's been one of the plays Miami's love to come to, the back, either checking down or getting him in the screen play.
NC State has given the ball away today. Can they get a takeaway? They need it with 4:25 to go in the 4th. And Miami driving. Morris trying to take off on the draw again. NC State able to pop him out of bounds. And not only does that short of the first down, but it stops the clock with 4:14 to go. 3-point Miami lead.
I don't know, but I don't like that play in that situation only because you're exposing your quarterback. You got away with it once for a big play, but I'd rather get it to my playmakers in space to get a first down in that situation.
43-yard attempt for Jake Wyclaw. No good. 4:08 to go, and NC State will take over possession. NC State led this game 7-0. Then Miami rolled off 23 straight points, and it's been an uphill climb the rest of the way for the Wolfpack. So what do you turn to here? You've got 2 timeouts left, 4:08 on the clock, and your ground game has been grinding today.
Absolutely. You want to take this ball down with 4:08 and use every minute, every second on the clock, because Miami has not been able to really do anything on that last drive to shut the game. You stop the clock going outside with that screenplay, and then you run out of bounds. At the worst, you stay inbounds and let that clock run if you're the quarterback, Stephen Morris.
And here's the freshman for a gain of 9, Shadrack Thornton. Can NC State put together a drive to finish this game?
I think with Mike Glennon playing at a high level, I think they can. I think they can get themselves in a position to get into field goal range. Miami has missed 3 field goals on the afternoon. Can NC State now take the 3:38 that's left to go in this game and get themselves in position to either tie or win this game?
Creasy back in at tailback. Glennon wants to throw. Caught for a first down by his tight end Carter. And those orange jerseys finally dragging to the ground, led by Gianni Paul and Vaughn Telemar. NC State missed an extra point. They also took a safety on a high snap. That's the difference in this game right now. Their kicker, Sadie, had made 58 consecutive extra points. His long this season is 40 yards. Glennon. Deep ball. Incomplete. Trying to find Tobias Palmer. Coverage by Ladarius Gunter. Don't forget Virginia Tech and Cincinnati from FedEx Field coming your way as soon as we finish here, but still 2:56 to go.
Tom, in this type of game, you almost feel like you're shorted when you don't get a big play. Every ball that's gone over 30 yards, you see, well, that's going to be complete. You know, they've been so accurate down the football field that when you see an incompletion down the field, you're actually shocked.
2nd and 10. Glennon over the middle, caught again to the tight end, and that's a big first down by Watson. It's been an elementary offense, running backs and tight ends for NC State to get back in this thing.
And NC State's done a nice job of using the middle of the football field in the 4th quarter to get it done, using more of the tight end situations to get it done in this 4th quarter.
1st and 10 for Glennon. In the face of pressure, goes to, again, Watson, who has it bounce off of his hands.
Watson got tangled up with Eddie Johnson, the linebacker there. I think it threw him off of his route and kept him off balance from catching the football. But today, Mike Glennon, 4 touchdowns, 409. Sensational afternoon.
Missed opportunities and mistakes for both sides, despite the obscene yardage total. Flags down, false start, North Carolina State.
False start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
What Al Golden said about Miami probably also applies to North Carolina State here. Not only is it either feast or famine, but you see 2 programs today that seemingly can't stand their own success. Things seem to be going well, and then they shoot themselves in the foot.
You know what? Sometimes you can blame it on youth. Sometimes you can blame it on just mistakes are going to happen. But in a 4th quarter of a football game, it's paramount. You can make up for a lot of those early mistakes by making a play right now.
2nd and 15 to the tight end again. And inside the 35, still rumbling, goes Asa Watson. Ladarius Gunter with the stop. Watson redshirted last year after undergoing 2 separate heart procedures. And the redshirt junior from Rock Hill, South Carolina, is coming up with play after play for North Carolina State on this drive. 2:10 to go in the game. 3rd and 4. Glennon lets it go off back foot, a wobbler that will fall incomplete. Glennon got planted in the turf by Eddie Johnson. 4th and 4 for North Carolina State.
Well, 2 Hurricanes came free from the short side. The running back could only pick up 1, and Eddie Johnson, coming back from that earlier injury in this game, gets the pressure and really stops the Wolfpack on 3rd down.
Sadie's long this season is 40. They're going to attempt the game-tying field goal with 2:03 to go. 50-yard attempt to tie the game. Got the distance. Good! A game-tying field goal from officially 51. What else did you expect?
This is unbelievable.
That's only the 2nd attempt from outside of 50 yards for Sadie in his career. His previous long was 45.
It's the same guy that misses an extra point that comes through with 1:58 left to go in this football game. Sun Life Stadium, bringing the heat back to Sun Life Stadium. NC State trying to extend this game.
37 all here, under 2 to go. Let's check back in with Dari.
All right, Tom, so Virginia Tech, Cincinnati getting underway at the home of the Washington Redskins. This game will come on here on ESPNU at the conclusion of NC State Miami. Right now, it is airing over on ESPN News. You can also see it on the Watch ESPN app. But again, we will have it for you here after NC State Miami. Guys?
All right, thanks, Dari. Hokies trying to build on a 37-0 victory over Bowling Green last week, but I've got to warn those two audiences, this game might not end.
1:58 means nothing right now.
Miami played a 4-hour game last week at Georgia Tech with an overtime victory. Sadie drives this one 6 yards deep into the end zone. Dorsett can only take a knee. A 51-yarder to tie the game.
Miami with both timeouts remaining left to go in this football game.
Let me ask a question, and this may sound silly. A lot of folks say that prevent defenses prevent you from winning games, but if you're North Carolina State and Miami only gets yardage via chunk plays, why not bring in an extra defensive back or go to some sort of prevent defense?
It makes sense because Miami's really burned you when you've jumped off sides or you've made a penalty and stalled in your defense and they've got behind you. If you give any advice to the safeties, keep everything in front of you.
Stephen Morris to throw on 1st down. Complete, and they lose a man. Scott turns a 9-yard gain into an 18-yard gain after he shook his defender.
Plenty of time, no need to rush for the Miami Hurricane offense. 1:50 left to go. You have 2 of your 3 timeouts remaining in this football game. So you want to be patient and make good decisions if you're quarterback Stephen Morris.
Morris on 1st down sets up the screen. James to midfield and more. And James takes it to the 40. Brought down by Rodman Noel.
But if you're Miami, Tom, you want to score a touchdown. You're 0 for 3 in field goal opportunities. You want to make sure you leave no doubt in this football game. You want to make sure if you can score a touchdown, you're going to push it to the end zone.
Well, there's been plenty of doubt when it comes to the Miami kicking game. And that one's tipped and nearly picked, and we almost had an offensive lineman with a catch. And I would not have been surprised by that. John Feliciano does a good job running downfield to put down blocks. We may have been able to see him run downfield with the football.
It's like a timeout called on the football for maybe an injury on the football field.
Pittman, the sophomore from Raleigh, had 7 tackles off the bench against South Alabama. Will head off. Jake Whiteclaw came into this game having hit 7 of 8 field goals, 2nd best in the ACC on the season. He missed a 19-yarder, a 41-yarder, and a 43-yarder. The 19-yarder banged off the left upright. Morris got to set up the screen, nothing doing. Now he's chased, and he will lob it to the Photogs. 1:18 to go, 3rd and 10. Brian Slay with the pressure.
Tough decision now for offensive coordinator Jed Fish. Do you run the football and let one of your playmakers get you 4, 5, 6 yards, or do you put it in the hands of Stephen Morris and trust him in the passing game to get it to one of the playmakers on the outside? I believe they're going to throw it here on 3rd down.
2 timeouts remaining for each side. Morris, slant route, incomplete, batted away. Ricky Dowdy with the coverage. Phillip Dorsett was the intended receiver, so now it's 4th and 10 with 1:13 to go. Morris has thrown for 504 yards today. That's coming off of a 436-yard effort last week. And Dalton Botts will be brought on to kick it away.
You think anybody on the NC State sideline is stay on sides? Do not give another cheap penalty to the Hurricanes on special teams.
Trying to kill this one is Botts. And that is about perfect. Up a lot of bounce. We'll stop it at the 3. Well, NC State has already put together one 97-yard drive. Can they do it in 1:03? They'll actually take over at the 4. So if you're the Pack with 1:03 to go and 2 timeouts, what do you do here? We saw Al Golden hold on to his timeout, same situation into the first half.
Well, he's not going to hold on to him now, but if you're the Wolfpack, you have to try to run the football on 1st down and make the Miami Hurricanes spend those 2 timeouts, and hopefully you're in a 3rd down situation where you can make a 1st down by running the football, because Miami can only stop the clock twice. You're backed up in your own end. You want to be able to hold on to the football because Miami's going to tackle it right now.
Glennon under center, trying to run it out of there with the freshman Thornton, and he runs for a 1st down, and then Moore staying on his feet to the 20 and out of bounds. Clock stops, 55 seconds left.
And now this changes things. That's a big run by Thornton, the freshman. Gets the football from inside the 10-yard line out across the 20 to the 21. So you may want to try to run it again, and if you get a big play, now you would hurry to the line of scrimmage, and now you become in an offensive mode.
Shadrack Thornton, the freshman running back. Play action to him. Glennon looking deep. Nobody there but Miami. Intercepted. Hurricanes with the pick. Thomas Finney. 48 seconds remain for Miami to make something happen in regulation.
The only thing you can't do is turn the football over. I'm not so sure why they were trying to throw the football, but it may have been a communication between quarterback and wide receiver. Up at the top of the screen, it looks like the receiver's going to run an out and up, but he stops on the route. At least if you keep going, you're going to be able to challenge for the football. That time you can't put it on the quarterback. If you think your receiver's going to keep going down the field, at least he'd be able to compete for the ball.
And now back to Stephen Morris, who set a Miami record today for passing yards by a quarterback. Morris with 504 yards, lets it go deep, and that one's nearly picked. Think of all the great Miami quarterbacks. Gino Torretta threw for 485 against San Diego State in '91. Craig Erickson, Bernie Kosar, Steve Walsh, Ken Dorsey, and Stephen Morris has bested them all today. 25 for 48 for 504 yards.
And he's not done.
And on the ground they go to James. Why?
Not sure. And they use a timeout now to talk about it on 3rd down.
.32 seconds remain here. Let's check in once again with Dari Noka.
All right, guys, we're keeping you posted here. Baylor, West Virginia, it just keeps getting wilder. West Virginia up 14. Nick Florence with his 5th touchdown pass of the game. 70-63, 3 minutes to go. West Virginia football. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech, Cincinnati are underway. Again, it's over on ESPN News or watch ESPN. When this game ends, we'll get you to D.C. for that one, guys.
5 turnovers for North Carolina State here. And big plays for Miami have given them this, well, gave them the lead, and now they're trying to reestablish it, but they run it on 2nd down and now face a 3rd and 11. NC State has 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, in this situation, the Wolfpack trusted Mike Glennon with the football. Now you have to trust Stephen Morris to make good decisions.
Play action. Morris has 3 men going deep. He's chased, eludes a man. Has a man short, wants to go deep. Wide open. Unbelievable touchdown, Miami.
You're kidding me.
Phillip Dorsett. .566 yards of passing from Stephen Morris today, a University of Miami record, and plenty of help from his wide receiver, Phillip Dorsett.
This is just unbelievable. It looks like the Wolfpack's going to have him in the backfield. Ricky Dowdy had Stephen Morris tackled, but to allow a UM receiver to get behind not 1, not 2, but 3 guys in a white jersey, you can't make this up. There's no way that you can let one receiver get by the deepest man. David Amerson's back there. Brandon Bishop's back there. You cannot allow anybody to get behind the deepest man, and yet Phillip Dorsett found a way to do it.
We just asked the question, why not send 5 guys back? Dorsett's day today is the 6th best in Miami history, 2 behind Andre Johnson. His quarterback has thrown for a Miami record. It's cliche to ask every time you do a Miami game, is the U back? And Al Golden knew that and said there's been too many peaks and valleys in this program's recent history. 5-7, 7-5 is not enough. But Stephen Morris has thrown for 566 yards today.
What's amazing, Tom, is both of these guys, Stephen Morris and Phillip Dorsett, they were coming off career highs last week against Georgia Tech. Morris threw for 436 last week. Phillip Dorsett went for 184 last week. Both guys topped their performances at home in what looks like a huge victory.
But 19 seconds still remain, and for North Carolina State, quarterback Mike Glennon is having a pretty good day in his own right. Glennon has thrown for 420 yards himself with 4 touchdowns, but his lone interception of the day on a miscommunication and a broken route set up Miami to take the lead.
Frustration on the state sideline only because they had so many opportunities to really take control of the football game, but a lot of mistakes, too many mistakes, either in penalties or turnovers, and too many Cane receivers, especially Phillip Dorsett, getting behind coverage, changed this game.
19 seconds remain. A low line drive kick. Flubbed at the goal line, and now Palmer trying to bring it out. And he is smoked. Forward progress will mark it just outside the 3. 10 seconds remain.
This is just unbelievable, the time that Stephen Morris was able to buy for himself and then to throw it around the 30-yard line. But even more unbelievable is that a Miami wide receiver could get behind coverage that way. How you could lose somebody after the way this game has gone with so many big plays.
Stephen Morris with 566 yards passing today has established a new ACC record, breaking Rusty LaRue's mark of 545 that came against the Wolfpack in 1995. Mike Glennon out of his own end zone. Clock rolling, needs a deep out to stop the clock, gets it. Rashard Smith steps out of bounds. 3 seconds remain. Final play barring a defensive penalty. And Miami drop 7. Pardon me, they drop 8.
This game has had so many big plays. Now you're probably going to get a pass with a lot of laterals in it.
NC State moved. It was the left tackle.
Full start. Offense number 79.
And that's
That'll
a
end
runoff,
it.
and that's
Yep.
the ball game. Al Golden will sprint to the other sideline. 4-1 start for Miami. Another incredible comeback. Wait a second. This one's not over. This one is not done, and they've got to clear the field. The clock wasn't running on the prior play, so it's not a runoff. So Al Golden will have to run back. A runoff only occurs if the clock was already running to keep offenses from stopping the clock with an offensive penalty. But since that prior play went out of bounds, the clock stopped with 3 seconds. It is not a runoff.
Full start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Game clock is at 3 seconds. Start on the snap.
Why would we expect this game to end?
No. Hey, Hokie fans, we apologize. Cincinnati fans, I promise you'll get it on this channel in a minute. But we got 3 more seconds to go, and Al Golden needs to catch his breath on the Miami sideline. Does he have another sprint coming? Glennon steps up, looks deep. He's going to chuck this one. Picked off. Ball game. A.J. Highsmith, the former quarterback, with an interception. And now Al Golden's Hurricanes have moved to 4-1, 3-0 in conference play. Don't know if the U is back, but the swagger is back on South Beach. Miami wins this wild affair with NC State 44-37. And yes, it's now a final. Now let's take you back to our studio on a crazy day in college football. Here's Dari Noko.